Okay. Yay. Amazing. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome, everyone,
Hi.
to another Poka Reads brought to you by none other than Poka Health, which is a period tracker and women's health app designed for African women, by us. If you haven't already downloaded the app, you could download the app from your Google Play Store or the App Store by searching Poka Health. And we're here today for Poka Reads, which is our monthly book club where we come together to explore stories that speak to womanhood and the many layers of our lived experience. Today, or this month in general, we've been diving into a different sort of book, actually, called Baking Cakes in Kigali by Gaile Parkin, a Zambian author. It's an uplifting novel. At least I found it quite, light and uplifting. Well, I wouldn't say light, to be fair. There are some heavy themes in there, but it did have a light spirit to it. Centered
Yeah.
on Angel, who is a cake baker, and her kitchen essentially becomes this space for like a community space or communal space where her customers come in and share their stories of loss, love, rebuilding, all of that. So today we're going to dive into it and yeah, share our thoughts on the book and sort of dig into some of the themes that came out and how that relates to us as African women. So I'll hand over to Jessie to lead today's discussion. Hi, Jessie. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. So, book club pick for the month is Baking Cakes in Kigali
I have a
by
different
Parkin.
cover.
I have this cover.
Well,
Cover.
Oh, that's the one.
Audio.
Okay. My audiobook had the same cover as Adele, but my Kindle had where's the cover?
Let's pick our
My Kindle
favorite.
has Jesse's cover. My Kindle has
I
such a
like this
different cover
because
from everyone.
it shows someone I presume is
Interesting.
Angel holding her baskets
Yeah,
and
I
talking to
couldn't.
someone I presume
This one
is,
is pink.
yeah, yours is very
Yeah,
different.
I don't
Is
know
that,
how that works, but I guess there's a
Mm.
cake
Yeah,
and there's a
I see it.
woman.
Yeah, and there's a table. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that was my cover.
so Baking Cakes in Kigali, it's our first East African book. We've mostly read West African books, one Indian, one Asian, I want to say. So,
Japanese.
Asian American, perhaps.
yeah,
American.
traveling to East Africa today for Poka Reads. And Baking Cakes in Kigali is about a woman called Angel. She bakes cakes and her encounter with her customers who come to her to bake, to order cakes for different occasions, from soldiers to prostitutes to nurses, teachers, expats, Rwandans, just people all over, and a story of um Rwanda after the tragedy. I think it's set in the early 2000s. So after the genocide, the Rwandan genocide, and a personal family story as well for herself and her kids. A sad story of how she lost all of her kids, and a mystery that is sort of revolving around her daughter that's like solved in the end, and how she deals with grief as well. That's basically what Baking Cakes in Kigali is. Quite touching, especially the latter parts of the book. Um, yeah, I guess we can just get into it. We'll discuss it using a typical Poker Reads format. So let's start with the plot. What did we think about the plot? Do you want to go first?
We'll go first, as the only person who has finished the book. Duh. Um, Fine, full disclosure, I've not finished the book. Um, so the plot, I see what the author was doing. I see her plan and it's commendable. It's just taking me a long time to get into it.
So I'm maybe 3/4 through right now, but I will finish it by the end of today. Fingers crossed. I like the thing. I like the plot. I like all the various colorful characters. I like Angel, and I like her as like the centerpiece that is being used to progress the entire story. And it's almost like in my head, I started to see it as like a sitcom with Angel's house as the set and people just coming, entering in and out, and so that made it very enjoyable. I like that kind of writing. So yeah, although there were heavy stuff throughout, really heavy stuff actually, it's literally set in Rwanda and is in early 2000s East Africa. So there's a lot of heavy stuff going on, but she still managed to write it in a way that, like Tipper was saying, brought some lightness, which was really nice.
You're muted.
Good.
I agree with you. I like the fact that it was all set in her kitchen. It was all very, let's have tea and tell me your story. You know, everyone's story was pretty much discussed in that kitchen. And I like that about the book. It was very, like you said, like a sitcom. Everyone's coming through here to get their story heard. So I like the plot. Yeah, I like it a lot.
The amount of tea she was drinking was concerning, but
But that's normal in East Africa, though.
In
They
East
drink a
Africa,
lot
yes.
of
here or
I'm
tea.
there,
planning to
how
make
much
my
tea
tea
we're going
her
to
way now.
Yeah, it's very
I
East
yeah.
African.
So I was hanging out with some East Africans about 2 weeks ago, and that's how they order their tea. So they were telling the waiter that they want the tea with milk, not separate, and then ginger and spices. And they just could not understand that you come with what Angel calls bland tea, a pot of tea and
Yeah.
milk.
English tea.
So the
Yes.
boring English way.
Bring the tea out with milk and ginger already mixed in the tea with the cardamom and everything. And Bosphorus actually did that for an East African I was with.
It's
So
also
I'll try.
quite Indian, actually. I realized whenever I'd order
Yes,
tea
I
in
thought like
India,
the chai.
Yeah,
it comes that
Is it
way.
chai?
yep,
Mhm.
the
I mean,
chai.
East Africans, and there's a lot of
There's a
Indians in
lot
East
of
Africa. Maybe,
Indian influence
yeah,
in
there's a lot of Indian
Yeah,
influence in East Africa as well.
chapati
That
and
makes sense.
Chapati,
yeah.
exactly. The spices
Yeah.
and
So apart from that, her tea drinking habit,
yeah.
but I thought I like the book for two main reasons. My earliest memories, for whatever reason, are of us in a compound house. And so where she lived was like a compound house where there are the neighbors. Like I just remember like the kids running around and like adults telling us stories of monsters. So we would like run home early before it gets dark. And so like that whole communal living and like everybody in everybody's business, that whole of compound living. I haven't lived in a compound in so long, but like that really triggered a core sort of childhood memory for me. And so I enjoyed that. And in addition to that, like the fact that the book was also set in East Africa, Rwanda. I haven't lived in Rwanda, but I did spend at least 5 years in Uganda and Kenya. So that also stirred kind of feelings of nostalgia. Like I could sense some of that vibe in the language that you chose, the accent and things like that coming through in the book. And so for those two reasons, I like the book already. I did also obviously the plot is good. There's a central figure and she is like the mother figure and everybody feels comfortable kind of coming to her. And she's almost an impartial figure because she's not Rwandan. She's from a different country as well. So she serves as a listening ear. And maybe we can dig into the characters later, but I have mixed feelings about her. I didn't like her at points, but let's see. But yeah, overall, good plot. Like I haven't read a book this year with that plot. And I've only read the 8 or so books that we've read. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I guess the plot was pretty even throughout the book. No dramatic things happened. It was very slow paced and very much a
yeah.
slow burn type of book. That's probably why I think if you're in a reading slum, this is not the book to get you out of it. It's
Yeah,
very slow burn,
agreed.
very slow paced. Um, I think you're supposed to savor it, enjoy it, like
like a
Angel's Cake.
cake,
Like a
like a
tea.
cake. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Ooh,
it's like
metaphor,
a
metaphor.
I think it's a way of her telling such a heavy story at a heavy time in like a way that people will be able to read easily. Like
Mm.
other
Yeah.
books that talk about the genocide are very, very hard to read. Especially, yeah. So I feel like she did a good job with
Yeah.
that. She made, I feel like that's the reason why she made it that slow paced. So you
Yeah.
could, yeah,
Yeah.
get into it without.
You're right.
I think
I
it was
read
also a glimpse into the life of ordinary people. I felt very much like, is it called something on the wall, fly on the wall, basically, in Angel's
Mm-hmm.
kitchen, essentially, or just maybe in the compound in general, or wherever they lived, kind of just peeking into how they moved, who was doing this, and how this neighbor is talking, So I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the characters. I think this book is very much character driven, and there's a lot of things we can talk about in
With too
terms of
many of
characters.
them.
Too many characters, that's my first problem.
Too many
So
of them.
difficult to connect. Who is Jenna? Who is Odile? Who is Modeste? Is Modeste a man or a woman? Finally
Modeste
figured
was a
out
man, right?
who Modeste
Tomato,
is.
security guard.
Why is
That's the
Modeste
man.
like who is Modeste has two wives? What is happening? It's
No, that's not
who
I
is
Modest.
I was
David?
like,
Oh, is it
Who is
Modest
Modest.
with two wives?
Mr.
That is
Mogaji?
I
Modeste.
mean, they're
Who
not
is
his wives, they're his baby
Mr.
mamas, right?
Kim, whatever he's called.
The Ghanaian couple
Akimoto.
was cute.
Kwame and Akosia.
Kwame
Yeah.
and Akosia.
Yeah.
Captain
Yours was
Khalif.
like Google
Captain
names in
Khalif.
Ghana.
Those are the most generic. At least it wasn't Kofi and Nama.
You know,
So
I'll take it. Kofi and Amma.
I'm
What
sure
was
they
it,
were
Kwame and
Kwame and
Ajua?
Owusu Mensah.
That's so funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, too
So yeah,
many.
the characters, it was such a diverse group of characters, so diverse from every part of the world, from Asia to Egypt to Southern Africa, West Africa, North Africa, um, North America, everywhere except South America, I think.
Yeah.
Canadians,
Mhm.
Yes.
It made
Americans.
me very
Yeah.
nostalgic.
And
It
it
was a
made
When they
sense.
were traveling everywhere.
Yeah, it made
No, no,
sense they
no.
were there because they're rebuilding the country after the genocide. So it makes
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
makes sense that it just didn't feel random that these people from all over the world that just happened to be here.
Just randomly, yeah.
Yes.
But
So
also it felt very expat living. Like we lived in Malawi for a few years when I was younger, and it felt like that's what made me nostalgic about that. Like it was like everybody from everywhere that you've never been to, but you hear glimpses of their story.
Yeah. Like you've been
And
to those
yeah,
countries.
exactly.
yeah,
You visit their homes, and it feels like you've heard about India, you know about India, you know what I mean? Yeah.
right.
It was very much expat living because that compound
Yeah.
was an expat compound,
It was fully
essentially.
expat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, Angel's an expat herself.
She
exactly.
is
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
her and
Yeah,
her
Yeah.
but
husband, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
what do
Have
we think
you
about the characters? What do we have any feelings towards some of the characters? Do we hate any characters? I can
hate?
start with Angel. Angel, I didn't really care for Angel. At some point, she was seeming like a superhero. Like, why are you taking on everybody's problems? You're
A bit
human.
nosy,
Exactly. That was the
a bit of
piece.
busybody.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's like
later on, you also saw her weaknesses and like,
yes.
when she had to confront her own grief and address them, because it felt like she's sweeping everything under the rug, and she
Yeah.
had to actually, talk to her husband and they worked through their grief in their own way. And I started to like her, and she started to feel human and vulnerable to me.
Mm.
But in the beginning, I'm just like, who is this woman who has a problem, who has a solution for everybody's problem?
Everybody's
Mhm.
problem.
What are you, a superhuman?
I liked her. I liked her a
Tell
lot.
us more. Why? I mean, we like
Um,
her.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody
I
can
feel
like
like
Angel.
I feel like people that go out of their way, like it was clear right from the beginning that she had been through a lot. She'd lost both of her children.
Yeah, that's
She
hard.
had to like she'd gone from grandmother to mother all of a sudden and had to how many were the kids that she had to but I like it when
5.
people beyond what they're going through can help other people. So
Yeah.
that's like right from the beginning, that's what it felt like that she was going through a lot, but she still had the time to have tea and listen to people's stories and help them fix it. So it felt very like, oh, who's this cute grandma, mommy kind of person that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And it made it even better when we started to see that she was a vulnerable person and would admit her faults and all of that. So I liked her a lot. Yeah.
In the
But
opening chapter,
crazy,
she meets with the
sorry.
Tanzanian ambassador wife. That's when I think she came off a little bit judgmental.
I did not like that wife.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
not.
What
Oh,
is it?
the one that ordered the bland cake.
The
white
blunt cake, yes.
I
Yes.
would have
I
ordered a
said,
beige cake.
Angel was itching.
She said, please, I
First
can
of
do
all,
better than this.
from the descriptions of
She's like,
Angel's cake,
here's my album. Choose something different, please.
Tipra, I feel like you would feel the same way Angel felt. If you're an artist and you have your design and someone comes and they just want the most
Oh,
basic
just
thing
very
and
black
you
and
don't
white is
want them
fine.
that's
associated
what
with
Just black
you.
and white, please.
How
Or
would
your
you
like,
background is black.
you can do this.
Exactly.
No, just
Yeah.
black and white.
Just black and white.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But the
Stripes.
way they were describing Angel's cakes, I'm like, these cakes don't look, like I have a picture in my mind of the bright primary colors she's using, the
I
sugary.
know.
I'm like, this cake, yeah, I don't think the Angel's cakes are for
You know,
me.
Angel believes in her cakes.
Bro,
Nobody can convince her
this may be
otherwise.
grim, but I started imagining, the Ghanaian thing of how
The
people like
coffin things.
coffin. Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
why?
wait, did they
What's
make
that
coffin
link?
cakes?
Like
No,
her
no,
cakes
they
have
made
personality. Like,
they made
Ah,
coffins based off of people's like
Right.
lifestyles and
Of
things
your
like
like
so if
that.
you're a
lifestyle and
Yeah.
your
fisherman, you'll be
career.
buried in a fish or something.
I
If you're
thought about that
Yeah.
as well. You're right.
yeah.
When she made she made a cake for someone's child, some doctor's
Yes,
child.
Baba Zahara or something.
What was the
It
yeah,
was
cake?
her birthday.
The
He
girl
The
he
wanted
she
pilot
to
ended up
cake or
making her
something.
the
pilot
yeah
pilot.
cake.
Yeah, the
pilot.
plane.
Exactly.
Yes, a plane.
It was a plane, yeah.
That's what made me think about that.
You think the carpenters have albums and say, oh, the person who died, what was his job? I have
I think
pen
they do
cake and
that.
fish
They
cake.
do.
Yeah,
That would be hilarious.
Angel,
I'd
yeah,
have a book based on a Ghanaian carpenter who makes coffins based on people's lifestyles, just
yeah.
like
I mean,
That's
Angel.
so
show what
funny.
he can do. I'm sure they have.
You have
Oh,
to make it funny because it's going to be
So
very
that,
good. It has to be a funny book.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, Angel is a lovable character. She seems to have a big heart and a willingness to help. But again, she's very opinionated and has her way of thinking, and sometimes she imposes that
Hmm.
onto people, and it comes out in conversations where she feels a bit righteous. But I think that's fine. It's human, and that humanizes her. And I think she's able to move beyond that even. And sometimes, I mean, she even got somebody to change their child's name
Your
from good
child's
enough to
entire
perfect.
name,
No, but that
good enough to perfect.
name,
That's so sweet.
guys.
She's not a man, but she's good enough.
But East Africans, and then again, I'm speaking based on my very no experience at all living in East Africa, but like based on reading and things like that, they especially like Zambia, Zimbabwe, they seem to have like very peculiar names
Mm.
and like sentence type names and things like that. So
Oh
good
yeah.
enough may not work in Ghana, but it seemed like it was okay for
No,
the
but good
context that
enough
we're in.
feels very like she's
No,
not a
the
man, but
reason
she's
behind the name
The reason
exactly
they gave,
that's
is,
okay,
yes,
yes,
If
she's not
child
a
learns of
man,
that
but
the
she's good
girl.
perspective,
enough.
so she's not a man, but she's perfect.
yeah.
I
True.
was just like,
So
yeah,
she's
that
perfect.
exactly. Uh,
And it was
but yeah,
also
that
quite
name was
conflicting because I don't know if it's the same culture. Good enough was Rwandan, but talking
Mhm.
about wanting to give birth to women because then you get the bride price. Um, so then women should be the prize. You should want to have girls
Exactly.
because
wait,
you have a
do
lot of
they do
house.
that in Rwanda? Do
Um,
women
No,
pay
I
the
think they
bride
do it in
price?
India. So
Yeah, I know
no, you
Indians,
are
it's
paid the woman's family is paid the bride price.
yeah,
The
yeah,
woman's
yeah.
father gets money.
Yeah.
So you should want to
but,
have
but that's
girls.
So is
currently
that the
African,
reason
yeah.
why they wanted a boy? Because I don't know if this was the reason, but apparently she alluded to the fact that there was a shortage of men in Rwanda after the genocide. So because most of them were killed off. So I don't know if the specific reason for, I mean, there's so many reasons why around the world people have the preference for men
Male
or boys.
children,
Yeah,
which
like
I don't
carrying
even
on family
understand.
name, legacy, all of that. But I'm not
An
sure why
heir.
that particular couple wanted a boy. And
Because the
or
other,
even and that theme did come up. I mean, we'll get, but like um
the
Modeste,
baby mamas.
yeah, Modeste's baby mama is competing on the gender, no, the
Oh,
And
sex.
child.
solely, models make a choice solely on the gender, as if it's not
Yes.
his fault, whichever gender each person has.
I'm shocked.
He's like, hey, have
So
a baby. Whoever has a
Modest was
boy,
the
stay.
security guard of the compound.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. who was with the shopkeeper and somebody else, right?
Is that
Mm.
what was her name?
What's her name?
Leocadie or something?
Leocadie, yeah,
Leocadie.
yeah,
Leocadie.
yeah,
So, so
yeah.
many interesting names that we haven't sort of heard of or read, like the naming
Yeah.
convention of
I
the
know.
book is
Cultures, yeah.
Yeah, I think
very distinct
Rwandan
East
speak
African.
French, so there's like some French influences, like with
Yes.
Yeah.
Modeste and Odile and Leocadie and things like that.
Yeah,
I
I think they
remember,
spoke French before the genocide, and now they speak
and now
English.
they speak both.
They speak both.
Yeah, but I think English is mainstream, is more
Oh,
mainstream.
I see.
And
Mhm.
English and Kenya Rwanda, which is
Kinyarwanda is really, really pop. Like that's what most
so they're
people
trying to
speak.
make it, like Swahili,
Really?
East Africa.
Why did they abandon the
Mhm.
French? Because they felt betrayed by the French government or
I have
I
no
don't know.
idea.
okay, I don't know.
But I
They
do
abandoned the
remember,
English team and just speak Rwanda.
I remember going
Exactly at
to
that point.
Rwanda and thinking, why does everybody have the same name? They all have like Magnifique, Pacifique. I have friends called like three different people called Pacifique. Like I was
What?
like, what's going on?
You
Coming from
know,
a
what's it
G,
Pacific
so
is like the Kwame or something of
yeah,
Ghana.
I'm like, I mean,
Perhaps,
we all
No.
have the same names
perhaps.
too.
But it's like it's a lot of names that end with IQUE. Like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of characters, what did we think of the Wazungus? And Mrs.
Nawazungus.
The
Wait,
Wazungus,
who are the Wazungus? What's all
The
these
white people.
names?
the
The
white
white
people,
Mzungu.
Oh,
That's
Mzungu.
their
Mzungus.
Yeah.
Afro.
Mzungu
In
and Wazungu.
Malawi, they say Mzungu. Yeah.
I think Mzungu is singular, white person.
Okay, because I was wondering
Yeah.
if it's
From the
male,
book,
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
and
is it male,
Wazungu is
female,
like,
or okay, or
that's
more
what I
plural,
gathered. I could be wrong, but
plural. Yeah.
They were, I mean, are we also counting Mr. Akimoto as one of the Mzungus?
Yes.
Because
I
like
guess he's
that thing
Japanese.
always like it's very like in
in
Ghana
Africa,
how they'll be like,
if you're lighter than us, you
In
are a
Africa,
Wazungu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
even if
So,
your
they
mother
have
is a
Mr.
Ghanaian.
Yeah, Mr. The Egyptian, whatever his name is, I forget, was
Omar.
I
was
think
ordering cardamom and
Omar.
ended up with condoms.
hmm, Omar was just badly behaved. What was that?
Interesting. I
No,
never knew they would circle back to that, but it was nice
they
to
did
see
circle back to
the
that, and it
resolution of
wasn't his
that.
fault.
Yeah.
It was just a
It was a
misunderstanding.
misunderstanding.
He
Okay.
wanted cardamom
I
for his
haven't.
tea or for something.
And then the
Oh,
And the
housekeeper thought he
his house
meant
help said the wrong thing.
yeah, oh
exactly.
yeah, but
I
yeah.
can't embarrassing.
You know what? And
Yeah, because
towards
why
the
are you
end,
asking your neighbor for condom? That's so weird.
but she's the
Absolutely.
one, she's an HIV health worker, so he knew for sure she would have some in the
She's the
house.
right
Fair
person to
enough.
ask
Fair
for
enough.
condoms,
She's
actually.
the right person to make that mistake with.
I think there was an insinuation at the end. Am I the only one that picked this up?
That they were
Where
together?
no, that his laughter sounds like he's having sex, but he's actually not. Because towards the end, when he
Oh,
goes
so he
up the
wasn't having that much
stairs,
sex.
yeah. So he goes up the stairs and starts laughing. Modeste and is it Gerard or whoever the second security guard is like, oh, they looked at the clock. It's not even the sun hasn't even set yet, and Omar is already, and I'm like, oh, so the entire
Oh,
time
poor
he's laughing, and they think
Oh.
he's engaging
he's gotten such a bad rep in the compound.
in
Meanwhile,
the
he was just
compound.
Just
Yeah.
laughing.
because uh
Yeah.
what do we think
What is
about
his
the
name? I forget
Wazungu?
his name.
Omar?
Omar, right.
Omar.
Yeah. And then we have the two students as well, Jenna and no, not Jenna.
Sophie?
Jenna is the wife of the CIA
It was
guy.
Sophie and is it
Captain
Catherine or
CIA.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah, Sophie and something, I forget.
Yeah.
The volunteers. They're
The
not
volunteers.
Wazungu, they are volunteers.
thank
But
you.
were they white volunteers?
They're
I think
white
they were
volunteers.
white
Because
volunteers. So then
Angel defended them very much over the ECG bill. I said
Yeah.
ECG,
because
electricity bill.
Look at you.
because she knew that they weren't working, like you know how most of the other people were like World Bank
Experts,
workers or
yeah.
like, so they
We're
were
not like
making
experts in
enough,
that way.
but these people were
She
just
said they're
volunteers.
not wasn't like the rest of them.
So there's a clear distinction between even with the Wazungus, the one we can extort or charge more, and the ones we can't.
We can't, exactly.
They're
They're
kind of
just here
like
to
us.
help. They beg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
probably students that decided, you know what, let me go and help a little
Take
bit.
a gap year or something.
And Jenna, who didn't it started with everybody in the compound knowing that the guy is a CIA
CIA.
agent, except his wife.
I was so shocked, like, my dear.
And he was like, that's not what I thought you were gonna say. That's the shock.
Yeah.
Did you not know
Well,
this?
Like, I think my husband is the CIA. Oh my God.
What do
in
we
addition
think
to that,
about David? David is the
David.
Canadian sleeper who slept with
Jeanne d'Arc.
Jeanne
I
d'Arc
I,
and Pay.
I
I
think
made
he's
a
an
what is it? I
first of
highlighted
all,
something there
I was going to
about
say that
David's interaction.
it's out of
Go on,
character
Eliza,
for
I'll find it. Yeah.
Canadians. But then I've met
Yes, I
some
know. That's like, why are
Canadians.
they painting Canadians like this? It's so out of
I've met
character.
some Canadians.
Yeah.
Should be an
I've met
American.
Adele, I've met some Canadians, and I'm like,
I've met
They're
some.
not lovely
my dear,
because
Really?
the
no.
Canadian, their PR is working because everybody thinks Canadians are the nicest people in the
Yeah.
world.
Well,
Canadians
until I
are
met
like,
this person, I also thought same. So he really reminded me of that person. Of like
oh,
So
a
I
character.
saw when Angel said, this Canadian is not a nice man. How can he cheat Jean d'Arc like that? And I remember highlighting and thinking, wait, are Canadians meant to be nice people? Like, is
Exactly.
Gail telling us something?
The PR is working.
I
The
think
PR is
Yeah.
working.
Canadians, I don't know. I mean, I think the perception, or one could argue that Canadians have a nice mask, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Americans have they unmask themselves. You're rude, they're whatever. Like you know, they show who they are. Where Canadians will wear a mask, but they're just Americans. They just mask that part of them, you know? So,
That's what
but when
British.
they're in
Different
a different,
Americans in that way.
yeah, oh, absolutely. Like you want to know what you're up against. That way you can defend yourself, right?
Yeah,
I feel like that's how the British are. Why don't they
As
also have a
well.
good rep?
indeed.
Yeah,
But
because
they
they're
have a different,
very
a lovely
masked.
accent to add to the mask. So you completely
Yeah.
don't even realize it.
Yeah. So, but when they find themselves in a different context, I guess that nature, perhaps there's no need to. But yeah, I mean, I think overall the Wazungus seemed all as if they were there, you know, with kind hearts. Like I think they all seemed like a good bunch. They were helpful. Of course, they all had like their skewed perceptions. You have the Indians who, for some reason, thought Africa was so dirty and full of disease and full of
Meanwhile, India,
Girl,
excuse me.
Ma'am?
you know
girl,
the wives being like major
high thoughts.
germaphobes
You're
and
not
like
coming from Switzerland. You're coming from India, my dear.
so there was that group. There was who? I think that's it. And then there were like I guess the David, the Canadian, who had absolutely like he was disdainful almost of the people that he was sent
Yeah.
there to help in a way, you know?
I think him and the CIA,
Yes, I don't remember his name. Yeah,
the
so
two
there's
of
that group,
them,
the two white men, quote unquote. The
yeah,
Japanese guy seemed like such a lovable
they didn't
character.
seem check. Yeah, I liked him.
Let everybody use his vehicle. He was kind. He ordered things.
Yeah, he was so kind to his employees.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
seemed like probably the best one there on the compound. And the women were a mixed bag, weren't they? There was the docile Jenna, the
The
promiscuous Linda,
clueless.
the clueless Jenna,
The killers there.
and then the two volunteers. Not really much to say about them. The two volunteers are very much
So
like
nice. Yeah.
the volunteers of
Yeah.
today,
Wait,
I
wait, wait. Are we
suppose.
done talking about the men? What about Bosco? Bosco that was looking for a wife.
Who was
Ah,
Bosco?
Akimoto's
Bosco's not
driver.
white.
Oh, but Bosco was
Bosco's
not
driver,
white.
yes.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah,
Wazungu.
Oh, we're talking about the white men. Okay, never
yeah, we're
mind.
talking about the
Come
white
to
Yeah.
think
people
of
now.
it, it seems Angel and Pius were the only black people in the compound.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
it never
Yeah,
weren't
even
help.
occurred to
That
me.
weren't help. Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, but
I
who
did
was
They
wonder
Salim?
came
because
Who
to
was
together.
some extent.
upstairs? Who was Vincenzo and his wife? Were they black
And then
too?
Kwame and Kwame's wife as well.
No,
Did they
Kwame
live in
and
the
Akosua,
compound?
they didn't live on the
They
compound though.
didn't they came to visit someone there, I think. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
how
I
they
No,
think.
met.
Vincenzo, you guys. The
Who's
guy who wanted
Vincenzo?
to do mutilation.
Oh, Amina, the North
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
They
yes,
might
yes,
be
yes.
We
light
think they're
as well.
black,
North
but what did you
African,
think
they
they
don't look
were?
black.
I don't know if they were
They
black.
seemed EMR to me. Eastern, what do they call that? The way the Arab, like
Ima,
Somalia.
Oh, Arab, like
Morocco.
Mina,
Somalian.
Definitely,
Middle
Arab.
definitely black.
East,
Yeah,
North,
yeah.
North Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
the Egyptian is also probably not white, but he will consider himself
African, I guess.
But if they are
mm,
Somalians
up
or
there. I don't.
Sudanese, they're definitely blacks.
Like the skin
Most
color.
Yeah.
Somalian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that. But you're right. Apart from that, there was a lot. It was very a mostly sort of foreign compound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And generally, that's what it is. Like expats are usually, I made a note
Yeah.
of expats versus migrants. And maybe we can talk
I
about that
know,
later
same.
to get into the
Yeah.
themes of the book. Yeah, I liked Odile. I liked Modeste and Lekadi. Lekadi seems so sweet.
Yeah.
Angel
Life
of
Even
at
with
Course, my
Lokadi's
favorite
Delta.
mother,
character.
Ducati's
Sorry?
mother was a shell.
Lokadi's mother,
A
yeah,
genocidaire. How do you say that, Nanadra?
Wait,
Genocidaire?
who was
genocidaire.
Genocidaire.
But did she
Yeah.
do anything during the genocide? Was she accused of being part?
Yeah.
Ah.
so that's
Oh,
why they
speaking of
killed
accused
her.
of being part, Jesse, all this time you've never mentioned that the Catholic priests were in fact very complicit in the
Oh yeah,
Rwandan
in the
genocide.
genocide.
Jesse,
There
it
were
didn't
some
believe
that
for
That
wouldn't
you
hide.
mentioned, you just
Why
bring up
is
in the
Jesse a
conversation.
I do
priest?
need to
Like
mention this.
we are talking about
maybe Jesse wants to
random things. I'm
enlighten us
like,
on this.
oh, by
Jesse,
the way,
do you
did
have
you
any
know
thoughts on
that
this?
the
Is
Catholic
Jesse's
priests?
brother a priest?
I'm also
I'm
Catholic, by the
confused.
way,
So
but
so
first of all, I didn't
specific.
know
Like
that fact.
why I didn't know that fact. So I was like, why you guys specifically? Like that just seems like why?
I don't
Because
I
know.
apparently in
think
2017,
initially,
the Pope apologized to Rwanda officially and agreed that we actually did it, but they had been denying it for the longest time. I didn't
And
think
this is
Rwandans are
this is,
generally
I think,
Catholic.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Africans generally. I think, and we don't talk about the genocide enough. I read a book,
Yeah,
Left to Tell by Innocent something. If you want to read it, she writes it. I think she's the only one who survived, and you leave the book in tears, but with so much information. The war lasted. The genocide actually lasted like 3 months.
3 weeks or so.
hmm,
And
It's a
millions,
short
like
time.
Months?
there's never been
but people,
months, literally, and millions of people
Months.
died. Like no, it has never happened. Usually wars last years and millions
yeah,
die. And we don't talk about this enough. And the reason why, and there was a point in the book they talked about not wanting to talk about it.
Yeah,
Like
because I think it's
nobody
a
that's
thing.
worked.
They don't discuss
And
it
it's
in
still a
Rwanda.
thing in Rwanda. Like nobody wants to talk about it. When I went to Rwanda, I was trying to get my driver to, they don't want to talk about it. They'll tell you we are all one
We don't
people.
talk about
But apparently there are
Burundi.
things, bubbling underneath the surface.
Of
We
course.
yeah.
The
beg
book
them,
even
But the
they should
says
talk
government
that.
about
just
it.
says, don't talk about it. We are one
Let's not
people,
relive
the
the
same
past.
language.
I
I
Yeah.
went
don't
to
think
the
that's healthy
genocide
enough,
center.
but I did. It's
It
They should
was
try
one
what we
of
did.
So the same one
the
that was
ter
described in the book with the
yeah.
white.
The
yeah.
What actually is
children, the
this?
line
What is
scale.
that? I was trying to understand. Is it actually like mummified bodies? Well, lime-scaled
They say they
bodies?
kind of
Okay, so
I
this
don't
was in the
remember
preserve the
seeing the
2000s, so
bodies.
maybe
mummy.
things have changed. But you see skulls of kids.
They have like
You see
uh,
the clothes with the gun holes and
skeletons.
Yeah.
It was a terrible experience. 0 out of 10. I mean, 10 out of 10 would
Never
recommend
Zero
again.
out of 10. Don't
for
recommend
for
genocide.
you
I
to.
don't recommend it.
I would not recommend genocide.
But I think that it shows you like I don't know, like how is it that your neighbor just turns on your neighbor? And it
Your
was very
neighbor,
much
like
like you're
I think
right,
that's
like you're
probably the worst
friends,
kind.
and
Like,
then all of a sudden they're like,
yeah,
you're a you're a root.
because
Yeah, it
you
was
see,
bad.
It was a
yeah, and this
psychological
may be
eroding over
controversial.
time. Yeah, it exploded in that moment, but it had been happening over time where seeds
over
of
time.
Mm-hmm.
were being, sown, and that divide was being,
Yeah, by the
yeah,
West, by the white people, because they
By the
yeah,
started,
West, it's
absolutely.
always
They
there.
started
according to
it.
the Genocide Center,
Yep.
not me. And I trust
Yeah.
No, but we all know that that's what I mean.
But
No,
I
no, no.
mean,
To be fair, they saw a divide or the possibility of a divide, and they made
I
it
was
wider.
along like a
and they
financial
made it
line,
Yes,
entrenched.
and they made it
yes,
Yes,
ethnic.
exactly. There was
Yes,
a
yes. So
bit
now
of
you cannot
already,
move between the classes and the
yeah.
tribes. Like if you're Tutsi for life. If you're
yeah.
Hutu, you're Hutu for life.
well,
And then
white
they
people
started,
every day. Oh no, no, no.
they'll
It's
give you
like
government
the
ID, so
caste
like you can't,
system.
yeah. And now they
Caste
start pitting
system.
you against it. That's what they've
Which
done.
are wrong.
That's
Profession.
divide and
Yeah,
conquer.
it's divide and conquer. It was preferential treatment given to the Tutsis who obviously had the features, and
Yeah.
I think they just wanted control. An easy way to control any population is to just, I mean, it's happening now with tone of skin, you're fair or light, with hair texture, we always find ways. And so if your enemy
Wasted.
comes into a camp and they see that you're already, these
Sort of
somehow exist,
divided.
they'll capitalize on it to make it wider so that
Yeah,
they can
make it wider.
control both sides. Yeah.
It's like like how like we're talking about Catholic priests. It's the Christians that brought slave trade into Ghana and like all
Indeed.
of these other places. Like, you know,
They
like
brought the Bible.
yeah, so all
I mean, they
these
say slavery
people
was
that
already happening, but yeah,
I
not
mean,
to
it
yes,
that,
was
but
it
not on
was
that
we
mass
were
scale.
trading inside our country. We're not sending
exactly
Yeah,
anybody out.
how
If you want to visit your slave uncle in the south, you can go.
you can go. It's
People
not
have
now
come
that
to
you have to
cross the
cross a
ocean, taking them
sea.
away, and now we'll never know where they are.
yeah, we
And
still
we were
don't.
not even treating the slaves the way they are not
No.
in chains and they are not dehumanized because
Like,
Yeah,
you're
It's
almost
like
like
it
you
you're just a
wasn't
go,
family,
that
but you can never
way.
go home.
The
yeah.
transatlantic slave trade it's just
No,
something
it's
that has
not
never
on
been
the same
before.
level. This was just an
Not on the
evil
same
thing.
level at all. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And this
I don't
Catholic
know.
priest, Jesse, continue to sit there with her.
I mean, what
For them,
am I a priest or something?
Why should I
Oh
speak
my
on behalf of
goodness.
the priest?
shocked. I was like, look at this white woman teaching me my own continent's history.
No, but
Because, like
I'm
you were
trying to
saying,
imagine how they would have preached this in church. How
I
do you,
don't think it was
you
that
have your
they
so
were
congregation and you're
in
telling
my
them what?
research,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
when I
I
started reading more about it, I found that there was a priest that is currently in prison for I think
mhm.
90 years. He's now in his 60s. So at the time he was like 30s, who allowed the people who were being hunted to come and hide in the church, locked it, and then gave
And
permission
then
for them to bulldoze the
all
building
be
down.
killed.
So it was things like that. They would hide them and then tell people that is where they're hiding, go and kill them. And it's like,
Because we
why are you
think
a
it's a
Catholic priest taking this
refuge.
upon yourself?
Hmm.
Like it just seems so specific and like, why you? Like they're the ones people are trusting and are, and confiding in and saying this is my issue, blah blah. And you're the one like literally betraying people
Train.
Yeah.
despite being the one that's supposed to like, protect and guide and everything. So that's why
Yeah.
Angel said she won't go to Catholic church again. She'll go there once a month. Rest of the time she'll go to
It's
other
true.
churches,
She was a Catholic.
spread her
Yeah.
faith around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the church has definitely been, and to pretend they haven't, they've been involved in almost every atrocity,
Oh
human
yes. Oh yes.
atrocity
But you see,
in
it's a
Indeed.
human
history.
institution. It's
So,
just a
yeah,
large human institution. What people don't realize is as long as it's a human institution, there will be
There'll be,
issues.
yeah.
And this is large scale human institution. So multiply the issues by whatever, like exponential, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But I like that we are talking about this and we are talking about the Rwandan genocide. It's something that's not talked about enough, despite being the
It's a huge
most
thing.
recent
It
genocide, I
is.
suppose.
Yeah, it was in
Barring
our
the
I
lifetimes.
wouldn't say the most recent, but like,
Well,
yeah,
in Africa,
in Africa
or
for
and that
sure.
magnitude of it
that
especially. And
magnitude, like
guys,
Hmm.
it was in
genocide that
our
happened
lifetimes. We're all
in
alive
three
We
during
were
months
genocide.
and millions of
exactly.
people died. It's never happened before.
We were
People usually
young,
take
but it
years to
happened.
kill millions of
Yeah.
Wow.
people.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the grounds of would have looked like of the country when everything was settled.
Horrible.
Like the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
blood, the graves, the
I
now I was in Uganda from 97. So just is it
Oh,
three
then
or
you were
4
close.
years?
Yeah,
you
No, but
were
I never
very
3, 4
hear,
years later.
close.
I didn't hear, and I was young. Perhaps maybe I wasn't so attuned. I was like 11 or something or 12. But I never heard anything about it. So that goes back to the fact of like once it
They
ended,
kept
no
it
one
quiet.
wanted to talk about it because I was
Mm-hmm.
so close to it 3 years in the fact they were still probably this story was taking place, I think, shortly after. So there was a lot
Yeah,
of that
the building.
humiliation, all of the persecution and all of that not persecution, but like the trials and things happening. And
Mhm.
yet no, but like I didn't hear people discussing it. My family talked like nobody was I didn't listen to the
I
Nobody
news
was
think
and
talking
about
about it.
it.
another thing that made it thrive the way that it did was how hushed it was. You know how if
Mm.
something is happening, well, I guess now social media makes it easier, but even in the past, when we were younger, if something is happening in Europe, it's on BBC, it's on the news. If something is happening in Africa, you hear about it like months to years
Months
later
later.
because
Yeah.
nobody is talking about it, you
But who do
know?
we say nobody? Like the international news outlets or even the local news
Yeah.
outlets?
I mean, we
I
can't
mean,
say for
yeah.
the local news outlets
I
because
mean,
I
because
mean
how will
they were
I in
probably
Ghana hear about
fighting
something in Rwanda unless
in
BBC talks
Rwanda.
about it?
Yeah, because there isn't
Yeah.
that
And that's the
overarching.
problem. Like
Yeah.
what you're saying right there is the problem. We should not rely
Yeah.
on BBC to tell our
On the
stories. We
white,
have to
Like, is
exactly.
amplify
there a
our own
continent-wide
story.
network that reports on,
I have watched so many movies
I
on the
don't think so.
Holocaust. I read so many books about the Holocaust. Every time I
Like
hear
I've
about,
not watched
and I agree.
only
Don't
one,
forget that this
only
atrocity
Hotel
happened.
Rwanda.
Hotel Rwanda?
And
Yeah.
this, in my
It was
opinion,
referenced in
even
the book,
worse.
I think.
And even Hotel Rwanda
Oh,
was Hollywood,
Hotel
right?
Rwanda
No?
was referenced in
it's,
the
it's
book, was it
Hollywood.
not?
What's his name? The
Exactly.
guy from
It was not
Captain America,
locally made.
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah. But I'll
So
recommend What Left to Tell. It's a very insightful book. It also talks about how the UN, the entire time the UN was there, the
Right?
UN was complicit. They
Yeah,
But the
refused to
but
UN
acknowledge
is there
genocide when
Kwame
it was
in
said,
happening.
didn't you
Kwame
hear
did say,
Kwame? Kwame
yeah,
said, as a blueberry, they couldn't
wasn't
Mhm.
allowed.
interfere, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I
They
mean,
refused to
what?
actually acknowledge that this is happening. The
Yeah.
international community refused to acknowledge that something is
It
happening
didn't.
It's
Yeah.
happening,
until,
yeah.
Until it was
yeah,
all
they could
over.
see
So it's
people
too late.
killing their neighbors with machetes and just
That's
the gore
wild.
of it.
even
Like you
today.
suffer to die, you know?
I feel like it's
And
Yeah.
happening even today because like it's like they report on what they consider is important. There's been a war going on in Congo for God knows how long,
Yeah.
but we're still hearing about Russia and Ukraine. Nobody's talking about Congo. You know what I mean?
That's why we
Like
have to tell our
there's
own
so many,
stories.
like
We
Sudan,
can't
let's
rely
find a
on
Congo
them.
book to read next, please.
Yeah.
'Cause we're
The-
learning as we go and amplifying
As
our
we
own
go, that's
stories.
true.
We
What's
Let's
have
the
Do
to
book
we
you
be
tell our
looking.
mentioned?
stories.
do we think that because
Left to tell.
I think you've been to Rwanda, so have you, Elise, right? Have
Mhm.
they truly healed if they refuse to look the past in the face or the eye and say, or is it like just a band-aid over a wound? Because eventually a band-aid might lift. I
Well,
mean,
Mm.
I
you
don't
know what I mean? But what do you
That's
what's
what I've heard. I have a
I don't
friend
know
who
that
lived there
they
for a year,
Mm.
and it seemed odd to me that nobody wanted to acknowledge it or talk about it,
yeah, they don't
right?
talk about it.
And they just say we are one, like everything is fine. I mean, they
Mhm.
acknowledge that the genocide happened, you go, it's free, whatever. Like they talk about it in detail, how it happened. You see, everything is preserved and,
At the
never
museum though, or
at the
these sites.
museum.
We're not
At the
on the
At the
museum.
streets.
site, yeah. But the people don't talk about it. And perhaps it also goes to, that's how they have chosen to deal with it because
Yeah.
it's the only country in Africa, apparently. I don't know how accurate this is, but I've heard it's the only country in Africa that everybody speaks the same language and is like one ethnic group that speaks the same language, as opposed to, say, Ghana, where we have like over 100
All
ethnic groups.
these different
So it's
ethnic
easy
groups.
to come together actually and
Mhm.
pretend that you're one people. In Ghana, we can't. Like
You
I
can't.
can't suddenly leave my
We will
culture and
fight.
adopt somebody else's culture. Like even the
Because you're
Mm.
names
different.
can be
We're
Yeah.
once the same.
It'll
When
be
he was
so fun.
cutting my
Like
sister's hand,
So
did you not
we
see?
have to deal with it. And even in Ghana, we attempted to
You're
do
cutting my
that.
sister's hand.
We
you
Yeah.
need to
attempted to
see that
do let's move on and forget about it under
Then after
Kufuor.
the national
the
reconciliation,
Yes,
reconciliation
I was gonna
thing.
bring that
yes,
up.
yes.
Mm-mm.
In the name of national unity. I disagree. I think that one, you never ever forget, ever, ever. You always tell the stories. I think that you hold everybody accountable, like the Nuremberg trials. If you guys have to run away from the country and go to Argentina and start a whole new community there, you do that. And then people know that it's it's
Like we
atrocious.
frown
It's
on
never
it.
going to happen. People
Yeah.
have been held accountable. But forget and move on. There's still like hate in people's hearts. I know even in Ghana, and again, we didn't go through anything remotely
Nearly as
Close.
bad.
close
Yeah.
at all. But there are certain people you mentioned Rawlings to, and they're like,
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
want to hear it.
yes,
So
but
they
my
don't want to
grandmother
hear
lived through
anything.
this, blah blah blah. And it wasn't even close. Like it wasn't a genocide. It wasn't, you know what I mean?
Just one or two relatives shot or something.
Maybe one
So
or
Just
two
You
it's
see,
relatives,
you
never
see,
a
not to
little
and
oh,
torture.
your
make
store
it.
closed.
No.
Maybe no one killed, but like your store seized for somebody else, which
Oh,
is still
definitely
bad.
people killed, but again, it's just
one
a
of the
few.
the issues we have with
Yeah.
Just in the face.
people forgetting, like with not dealing with it, all of that, is that people forget.
Yes.
If I tell my niece that I mean, I don't know anything that Rawlings did, but my parents apparently, or like grandparents probably do.
You know?
And like if they're telling my niece that, oh, Rawlings did this, I'll be like, okay, but like it's not written anywhere. It's not like, you know how all
We don't have
these
movies
like
about it, about the
exactly
coups.
like the tattooist of Auschwitz, like all the books that we have read about the what we call the Holocaust, all the movies we've watched about the Holocaust,
Watch the
nobody can
Holocaust. Yeah.
wash it out of the mind of a child that is born in this
They,
generation.
yeah.
They won't let us
But then
forget.
there's
They
nothing
refuse to let us forget.
exactly.
Yeah.
But then
But
for us,
we're
it
just
Live
feels
to
forgetting
it
forget,
feels
ours.
you
it
know?
feels like they don't want us to like it almost feels as if they well or we don't want to tell our story because we want to forget about it. But I think for posterity's sake, it's important that we tell these stories and that these things are in history. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
guess it
mean
mirrors
when Rollins
African
passed
culture.
away, and people were like, even before he passed away, he started to become a statesman, an other statesman, and he had a lot of support, and people were actually saying we need him to come back and be our president because things are not going well. And it's like your parents haven't told you history, and it shows, or else you wouldn't be asking for Rollins to come back and be our president. And
He's reformed.
started calling him Papa J, like he's a household name. I understand. Look, let's forgive, let's forget, and all of that. But we can forgive and be aware of the person's stain
The
on history.
past.
And if we're
Exactly.
not going to imprison him because he has presidential immunity that he wrote into the constitution himself conveniently, cool. Let's make sure that everybody knows that the reason why he can't be in prison is because he covered his ass, because
Because
he
he's
made it a law. And it meant that
Yeah.
we could never question him for his crimes. Let's not pretend that because we can't question
It
him, the
didn't
crimes that don't
happen.
exist.
And
Exactly.
Nanaja,
But
laws
is
can be
this
reviewed.
mirroring?
I blame Kufuor. Like you can't people there has to be we have to have accountability. The reason we're
Yes,
where we are is because we don't hold people accountable. If someone does
accountability.
something
Yeah.
bad, you have to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Presidents are imprisoned all the time.
All over the
In
world.
yeah. Why can't we imprison our president?
I think
But I do
A
President
think
judge
at
Trump
was
the
just
a
let
macro,
out
breastfeeding
one
judge
president.
was dragged out of
For
her house in
taking
the
a
rain
shot, a
and shot.
breastfeeding,
She was breastfeeding. Like
because she gave
people
a
don't
ruling
know
that she
the
didn't agree with.
magnitude of, and Ghanaians don't know this, at least like you're
No,
saying. And this
Yeah.
is part of our story. It's our history. We don't forget in the legal fraternity.
because every year we celebrate
Because
the
every year
martyrs.
they'll
But
force us
many
to
people don't
remember.
know. Many
Hmm.
people
I'm
don't know
just
this
saying
story.
that the macrocosm is reflecting the micro because it's like I think in our own homes, the way we address issues, I think typically
Yes,
the African context is we've read this in other books. We gloss over issues, we
we
protect
keep it at home.
we protect the
Like,
criminal or the abuser and almost
True.
like
True.
convince the victim to be let bygones be
let it
bygones,
go. Yeah,
let it go. And I
Yeah.
think that rises, that's the micro, right? And so at the macro level, that same thing is happening where when these massive tragedies happen, our reaction is to gloss it over and say, okay, they've done bad. Let you forgive them, eh?
you
Like it's like
forgive
the
them.
elders coming to beg you, all of Africa
Yeah,
basically going to beg Rwanda and saying, let's forgive and let's, you know what I mean? So it really starts. I don't know what's reflecting what, but I feel like it does start at the home and it's then,
yeah.
mirrored in the broader scape. And
You
yeah,
should
I
have
think it's
clinical
hard to
studies in the university, so archivists can archive all of these things, and we don't have to wait. But tying it back to baking cakes,
yes,
we
bring us back.
Angel and Pius sort of doing the same thing we are talking about, not talking about their problems, not talking about like
Mhm.
because going from having 2 kids to having five
Having
kids is a
five
big move, and
Two
then
two
losing
adult kids
adult
They
to
were
kids.
having
empty nesters.
5
They were empty
little kids.
nesters, were they not? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
and losing your
Now you're
kids
suddenly
in
parents.
such a premature way must like I can't even imagine the unthinkable pain that they must be going through. Every parent's worst nightmare.
Burying
Facts.
your
And
own
Angela
child.
is just this happy-go-lucky woman. I'm glad they addressed it later on, but in the
Yeah.
beginning, she was just too superhuman for me. Like, anyway.
I I
Mhm.
think that like the way that people choose, like, and that's another thing. Some people have a thing where when they're grieving, they have to acknowledge it all right now, discuss it all right now. There are people that take their time when there are issues. I'm that kind of person. Like I'm not, sometimes I don't even know how I feel about something. Like something terrible has happened. I don't like my mind hasn't processed it. And so if people keep asking, oh, let's talk about it. Oh, how do you feel? Like I feel very overwhelmed because in that moment, I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to think. So I like that they discussed it later when they had thoughts about it. Like it felt very, oh, okay, like this is validating. Like I'm not the only one that will, it almost feels as if like you're being what do we call it? Like you're ignoring the things, but it's just like some people take more time to feel their feelings and like grieve and
Yeah.
all of that. So yeah.
Right. So let's quickly move to the themes. And the first thing that I wrote down was it's not a major theme, but something that personally in my life, I say I am multilingual. The fact that almost every African I know, basically every African I know is multilingual. I am. I speak English, I speak Fafra, I speak Tree.
Mhm.
Fanti, I understand. Hausa, depending on the day. 5 languages.
You're almost a
So,
polyglot. Two more.
I know, right?
Oh, really? What does it take to be a
and then
polyglot? Eight?
and
7.
then the other 6 actually. I understand Kasem. So 6 languages. Can't speak, but I
Just
understand.
add one more and you go.
French? You want to add in French?
I mean, sure, like I'm
You want-
basic
Just
basic French.
sure.
Fair, fair,
Basic,
fair.
okay, I can't speak Ewe. Basic,
You say
if you
away.
divide the Akans,
Don't
then
mind it.
I guess I have like 5 Akan languages under my belt. So
Auntie
But I like
Chi.
that. Yeah, go on with that point
What's
though.
up?
yeah, so multilingual, how Africans people we never take, I always take multilingual. It's in my CV, and all of the benefits that come with speaking more than one language to your brain. Doesn't matter what language it is. And if
Mhm.
anything, I speak more of my many languages than someone who speaks international languages. So I get more of the brain benefits. Every day I hear someone speaking Tree, so my brain interprets it directly. I hear people speaking English. I hear people speaking Frafra. I hear people speaking Fanti, maybe not every day. But I feel like I have more of the benefits scientifically and biologically. And it's something I want every African to say. I'm multilingual. You speak Frafra. Yes, hundreds of thousands of people speak Frafra. It's fine. May not be millions of people, but it's a language I speak. It's an African language. Um, that's the first thing I wanted us to discuss before we go into the actual themes. But the themes in this book are very, very heavy.
Not draw Frozen
I think
is
Yeah,
so.
she
Maybe her
is.
internet went off.
okay.
You
But
can
I
share.
agree with you. Just this morning, we're talking about the hoops that the US makes people go through to show that they can speak English when they
Mm.
speak such terrible English. Like I hear people speaking English and I'm very much like, you people make us take all these tests and you
Mhm.
cannot put basic subject verb agreement into your like it just really stresses me out. And then
Yeah.
they look down on people that are not articulate in English, no matter how many other languages they're articulate in. They think you're not smart if you're not able to be articulate in English, but that's not like
Or even if
that's
you speak
no
English with an accent,
measure.
or even
Yeah,
if you
or
speak English
exactly,
with an
or
accent,
English with an
that's the most
accent.
painful one too. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's no measure of being smart if you have an American accent or whatever that is, because there's so many different accents. Like I feel like the accent in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is so like I'm still getting used to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think that our languages are valid and should be very
Yeah.
recognized everywhere.
Mhm.
Most of the people on our continent, in our country, are multilingual, but they don't talk about it because they think it has to be English or French or Chinese, which is not our language. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I completely agree. And that was a point that Angel kept making that I don't think I've given much thought to it because I think I'm for the most part, unilingual. There's a few languages I understand Tree, I understand Farfra, but I don't speak any of those, or even in the context that I am now, hear them a lot, right? So it's not something that I personally think about, but when Angel brought it up, trying to influence those people, she'd be like, oh, why is it only bilingual? Especially when the government was expressing that, hey, we're switching to bilingualism, English and French, and be like, I don't
what
know,
about
like,
Kenya, Rwandan?
yeah, exactly. How about
I
that lens,
know.
right? So that's a
Yeah,
Yeah.
great point. And I
Yeah.
don't even know if it's something yes, it's something that exists on a global stage, but it's also something that we've internalized. Because a lot of people, when they see, are you multilingual or are you bilingual, they themselves immediately think, oh, do I speak Russian? Do I speak? They
Yeah.
talk
exactly.
5 languages like Chinese, Russian, Spanish, English, French.
French.
And
Yeah,
so people box themselves into that. I don't know, and it's from obviously the brainwashing or like the what do you call it, the training that we get growing up. But nobody
yeah,
even has to tell you that, okay, well, you speak all these other local dialects. That means you should be ticking the bilingual or multilingual box. You
exactly.
immediately box yourself by saying, oh, because I don't speak Spanish, I must be. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah,
Yeah.
having more conversations like this will allow people to expand their thinking. It only
Yeah.
means the definition is you speak more than one language. It doesn't matter what the language is.
hmm
As long as it's not
Yeah.
made up language and multiple people
As long
speak.
as
Yeah.
Pig
Because
Latin.
East Africans,
Pig
by
Latin.
default,
and
they
if you
speak at
speak it
least three
properly,
languages.
just because I
Yeah.
can somehow get away with French, I can't be ready as a bilingual. No,
Yeah.
like you have to speak, you have to speak it properly. But I
Yeah.
think that is having more of these conversations and more pointing it out, because I think until somebody points it out, you actually don't even think that you're behaving this way.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I make it a point always. I take by multilingual. I write all of the languages I actually speak. And
yes.
we have to start saying that. And as a matter of principle, I absolutely refuse to write whatever it is they make you write.
What do they
What is
I
make
will
you
not give
write?
my money back to you. What is it called? Because I don't pay to write it. As a personal principle, I
what?
have a letter. What is English proficiency?
Oh, girl,
The
like
heck is that? I should pay you
What do you
money to show you I'm proficient in English. I take a
it's
letter
so
from my
annoying.
university to tell them I did complex science, chemistry, math in
In
English.
English.
I'm not paying you to
It's
write it.
something
And
like
mostly
social
they
justice
waive
No,
it.
but to
scale.
get my
Yeah.
permanent residency in Canada, after studying in Canada under their own system for 4 years, learning political science, law, all of that, they still asked me to take an English proficiency test. And they brought me into a room to do English. Like, oh, so, oh, how are you? Okay, I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like, it was so awkward. I'm like, I've
A lot of
studied
those
here
things.
under your
Yeah.
university for 4 years. It's been like I've lived here for another two after that. Like, it was just so odd. But obviously,
Yeah.
in that context, it's a money grab or whatever.
I
Yeah.
Or
think
it's
for the
another
most
way
part
to
it's a money grab.
or
Yeah.
another way to reinforce that unless you're born in Canada, we still have a little bit of disregard or disrespect for your version of English. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? It still signals something beyond just being pay money. So,
I mean, if it's permanent residency or citizenship, I sort of understand. I think in Ghana, you should be able to speak at least a local language. I don't know if you enforce
They
it.
don't make you speak any local
Yeah,
language.
we should enforce it because know some words in Ghanaian language. You should know how
Hmm.
to move around.
but
Most of
no,
us
you
don't
can
speak.
only enforce that if the national operating language is in said language, but our national language or
It's
operating language
English.
is English. So if the operating
Well,
language is something else,
then
then
they can get the
perhaps
language of whoever is doing their visa that day. Oh, sorry, I'm from some obscure corner of Branga. Can you speak my
They'll find
language?
someone for you. In the
Let's
courts,
hear
they'll always
some.
find someone for interpretation.
Yeah.
So they'll find someone to interpret.
yeah,
Mm,
but that was
Yeah.
interesting. I think we need to, yeah,
yeah.
definitely do more, make more efforts to let people
If
know
you
that.
know any African parents who are
Yeah,
making their kids learn only English, be that voice that tells them teach your kids your language. It's always so upsetting. Me bane de on country.
I
is
believe in
that thing
shaming
still
them.
happening?
Shame them.
It
It's
stresses
still
me
happening.
out.
Shame them
Stop.
into submission.
It's happening.
It is
And
happening.
yeah, they just don't know better, unfortunately. Anyway, it's not as much as, I think people are embracing local names, just our own culture and identity.
I
So
love
hopefully
that.
in the next 50 years, all of these things will fade away. But what other themes did we pick up? Who wants to go first?
Expats
You already,
versus
did I miss something?
Migrants.
immigrants.
I think I
No, we
missed
just talked
something.
about them
Talking about the
multilingual.
language piece.
Okay.
I
So now,
when
Expats
we
versus
lived in Malawi, I remember thinking like, am I and is my mom an expat? Is she and like it was a thing that I thought about, but like very loosely. And then I moved to the US and I was just thinking, if my mom was doing the same job that she was doing when we lived in Malawi and she moved here, she would not be called an expat. She would be called an immigrant.
yeah.
So what like like if you're white, then you're an expat. If you're
expats.
black, then you're an immigrant. It's just
That's the basic definition.
And perhaps we should start calling them immigrants also on the
I
continent.
strongly agree. Yes. I've never said what is
We do this
expat?
to
They're
ourselves
immigrants.
anyways.
true. We're
Yeah.
part of the problem, to be honest.
I think the
Yeah.
argument that the thing is this, and this is the distinction, I mean, that's how I'm feeling, is that expats come to add to the society. You know what I mean? And immigrants come to take almost. And so immigrants are
Mm.
kind of like leeches
But
where they're taking resources and that's a distinction because all immigrants happen to be people who are from third world countries,
But those
right?
people
Like
often are
even a
the
German that moves to the US isn't called an immigrant.
no, but take you guys, for instance, Elise.
I don't
Are
see
you
why I should be
adding or
called.
taking away? I feel like,
Thank you.
why would you
Good
be called an
question.
immigrant?
You're
But
adding
that's
so much to their
oh yeah, but
economy
that's
and
the
to their
perception.
system.
That's the
They don't
perception that if
consider
you
it
have
that way.
the
It's
darker
not
skin.
considered that way. As long as you're from a third world country, low middle income country, you're not considered. It's the same way there was a war in Europe and they were gladly accepting um
Yeah.
war people from refugees from war-torn Ukraine and Russia into the US. Whereas there are refugees that have been seeking
Oh,
asylum from Sudan, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
yeah.
you had basically they want you to be white.
Canada
Yep.
had a huge program where they were bringing in, yeah, like you said, Ukrainian, you know,
Yeah.
immigrants, but no such program for what's happening with Sudanese right now or Congo right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I think that again, the perception is these people will contribute to our society. Like it's warped, obviously, and not from any place of logic. It's
No,
just from
that's
a
not
place of
true. Yeah.
no, it's
It's
not.
such
The most
lies.
It's
educated group
warped.
are African immigrants. Like,
And the
Yeah,
most
actually.
hardworking. Some of the most hardworking people I've met are like, the Spanish, the black, like they will work
Yes.
hard, like 3, 4 jobs, like do crazy things. Anyways, so that's also something that we can I think, easily push back again. I think, again, this is also a language. And so we just start changing our language. Oh, the
you know,
American immigrant.
we
Mm.
actually need a lot of them in Africa. I'll make
True.
it a personal point to start calling them immigrants. You agree?
Immigrants. Oh yes,
They're
I
coming to
met an
stay.
immigrant from England.
And
Yeah,
go. And that's all they do. Come and take away. Um,
we
The
can. We
expat
just need to
community,
change the
the
language.
expat community
The
in
expat
Accra.
community. Yeah, the immigrant
We need to
community.
start calling them
Yeah.
the
And we
Immigrant.
can
immigrants.
call them also, we can call them ethnic minorities because when they are here, they're ethnic
They're
minorities.
ethnic
Yes. Okay.
Nothing annoys me. I'm going into a shop in my own city, in my own country, and seeing ethnic foods to describe Ghanaian
And then they
food.
go and it's Gary. I slap.
Really?
Where
Wow.
does
But
ethnic
What
here
wow,
the
mean?
heck is ethnic food?
If you
In
go
my
to a
own
supermarket,
country,
huh? Yeah.
I'll kick your
that's so
fuss. And sometimes I have to hold
funny.
myself back. Like, I don't want to kick your fuss in this shop. This girl's sitting here selling. It's not her fault.
She
But like,
doesn't
I get so
know.
annoyed.
I remember when
To be-
I lived in Ghana a few years ago, I had a job, I won't say the place, but I had a job at this place. And most of the managers there, have I told the story already on this? But most of the managers there were like, Indians or like Lebanese or
Mm,
whatever. And I was
mm.
brought on as well as like a manager and clearly the only black manager. And I remember one of the ladies was instructed to like set me up. She was this Indian woman, set me up with this and like ABCD. And like set me up with benefits and things like that. She's like, oh no, 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 like arguing with it, like, but only the expats get like benefits. Yeah.
Excuse me?
So
Yeah,
it's not
she
the
was like,
managers.
she was one of the managers, but she just had a whole something hurt her inside that I was black,
Just
but
that you were
also
going to
being
get her same
considered
thing.
an expat, paid in dollars, getting the set of benefits. Like she didn't understand. You know
Right.
what I mean? Was pushing back against. I'm like,
That's
you're
so
my
wild.
country. And then
First
you're,
Exactly.
of all,
you know what I mean?
the
it's wild.
audacity
Like
to come to my
you wouldn't
country
have
and
that
tell
same
me,
audacity in their country.
Yeah,
Ah,
it was so crazy to witness that, to feel like they had airs about themselves because they could hold that expat title and
In
didn't
fact, when
want to
you go
show
to some of these
African.
companies, like you're saying, these Lebanese or Indians are the ones in charge, there's such a clear disrespect that
it's like
they
a
manifest
line.
with the way they talk to their Ghanaian employees. Like
Oh yeah.
it's so obvious, and you are there for less than 5 minutes half the time. But in that time, you're able to catch the clear distinction of I'm the boss and they are lesser than me. There's such a
Yes.
disrespect that's just there from the time you walk in constantly.
And
It's like you're in my
encouraged.
country
And
So
it might
unfortunate.
encourage because in my workplace, what was hard about it was that my style of managing, which I'd picked up from being in Canada, was like there wasn't really a clear distinction between who's boss and who's not. Like, I would go onto the floor and like talk to workers, and I'd be called aside and be like, don't be so friendly with them, because then they, like people had t took issue with how I was connecting with the Africans
with
and
the
how I would
workers.
talk to them and how I would,
And that's
but
why
I'm
they
like,
will
Honestly,
lose your
I'm one of
benefits
them.
because you're one of
I'm one
them.
of them.
they were just,
They're
but
not
I'm
going to
like,
select our expat benefits.
I'm also black. I'm not gonna come in here. Like it was so strange that in order to have that power, I needed to
And
like
that's the divide and
disrespect
conquer
people. I'm
mindset.
like, I cannot, you
That's how
know?
they
That
started.
is the divide, and
Yeah.
because I went to Cape Coast Castle recently, and I think nothing annoyed me more than the black people that were in the castles and perpetuating this like just ridiculous thing of
Mm-hmm.
I'm black, but I'm better than you, the
House
chiefs.
Right.
nigga, field nigga
Ah,
level.
yeah.
And that's how they're able to get us, because no white
Yeah.
person went to the hinterlands to get anyone. It's still the divide and conquer mentality that we have
It
to get.
is. And
That's
that's
so
what it
true.
was. So recruiting black
Yeah.
managers, and those black managers feel like, will
There has
behave in
to
the
be a
I'm
same
better
way.
than
divide.
you.
Yeah.
There
To
has to be a
perpetuate this kind
divide.
of like, it was really
That's
Yeah.
odd.
it's so sad.
All right. Um,
Another
the main theme that we're missing, post-war
What is the
Rwanda.
main thing? Is
This is
it? Okay,
HIV/AIDS.
well,
we,
yeah, I
we
was gonna
talked
say
about
HIV
That's
it.
a
AIDS,
big one. Can we focus?
that's a big one,
HIV,
especially
Ebola was another
yeah.
one.
I know.
Just
The
Africa
lady
is
saying that
disease-ridden, basically.
Ebola, what did she
that's
say? She
where
said
I
she can't
started to
go
have
out.
problems. I started to be taken out of the story, and I started to have problems with Gail Parkin as an author.
Yikes.
Why?
Because
You feel like she was exposing all the diseases? What?
not
She's
that she's
telling our
Is
exposing
business.
there
all of
She's
it.
Ebola in
telling
this
our
place?
Yes,
business.
and not even our business. I mean, like, fine, there's HIV everywhere. Like
No, but
HIV
then HIV is more prevalent in Africa, especially in South Africa.
but this is a story set in Rwanda, not South
Yeah,
Africa.
so it's more well, Eastern and
Oh,
Southern
and
Africa
Southern and
has
Eastern here.
Southern and Eastern has the highest, the whole world have the highest prevalence
I
of
just
HIV,
feel very
even today.
protective of
The problem is she's white.
Say it.
That's the problem. That's your problem.
I
If it was
say Gail
a
is
black woman
Zambian.
saying
I
it,
say Gail is African.
She is African.
she
Huh?
is African. She's African, but she's not sub-Saharan black. I was
Yeah.
telling you this earlier. Elon Musk can say he's African. The white farmers in South Africa can say they are African. But when it comes down to it, there's always a difference.
It's the same way they don't
Trump is telling
consider
us that he doesn't want black people, but he wants white farmers from
exactly
South Africa.
Mhm.
Charlize Theron is African,
South
but
African. Yeah,
that's a difference. She's treated differently from her fellow South
of
African
course.
actresses.
Yes.
if she happens to be Ghanaian, she has a Ghanaian passport, and I have a Ghanaian passport, and we go to the passport office, visa office, or wherever, she's more likely to
Will
get a
be
visa.
treated
She's more
differently.
likely, she's going to be treated differently. So there's a difference. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, she's white. I believe she's African. We have white Africans. They exist.
But you
But
don't want them to talk about
our life
HIV?
experiences
Hello?
are very different.
They exist in the
No.
same way
Oh,
Black
agreed,
Americans
agreed.
exist, I guess. Like
Yes.
you're Black and you're American, but are you really American? In the same, you
Like
know what I
people
mean?
keep
Well, I feel like
asking
Because you don't
me.
get the
they
same
are. I
right.
mean,
I mean, I can't
Americans,
speak to their
they are
experience.
American.
You don't have the
But
same
people
experience.
still
Yes.
ask them where are you from? You know that thing where people are like, oh, where are you from? Where are you from?
Interesting. So I thought it was only Africans who live in America
No.
that get those questions. So I got those questions when I lived in England, and I was always happy to say, "Oh, Ghana," because yeah, that's where I'm
Exactly,
from.
same.
Like it didn't even occur to me that you're being racist because it's like, "Oh, is it my accent?" Yes, I'm from London. That's what I would say. They say, "Oh, where are you from?" From I say, "Oh yeah, Accra, Ghana." Like, but if you keep going, I'll take you to if you just in the Ashanti region. Like, we
What
can
they
keep
Exactly.
want.
going.
When they ask you where you're from, they want you to go
I'm
to
just
your
like you,
grandfather's
like
roots and tell them where you're from.
Yeah. So
you
for
have to be
me, like
overtly
it wasn't
racist for me to
I
pick
didn't
it
know
up,
that it was
because like I
racist.
would not pick it up. Like
But
it doesn't compute. I feel like
No,
if
because
you're looking
but
at
our
me,
religion is
I
different.
think it's because I'm pretty, and you're looking.
you
I
have the
never
privilege
experienced
of
racism.
being from somewhere. You have that
True.
privilege. For African
Fair enough.
Americans,
Yeah.
this is where they're from. You know,
So
this is
understand.
home for them. So if you're asking them where you from,
Where are you
it's very
from?
rude
That's
because
rude
this is
because
where they're
I'm here
from.
because of your ancestors.
Exactly.
think it
No,
depends on the context. When I'm in Europe and
yeah.
they say where you're from, they think they mean I say Canada and they're satisfied. In Canada, however, where you're from, they mean where you're really from, and I say Ghana and they're satisfied. You know what I
Interesting.
mean?
But
So it
then there
depends.
are Canadians who are not like you in that they were not born in Africa,
They don't
right?
have anywhere
They are
else.
like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Like
this is
Black.
the where they're from.
So for them, it's a sign of an act of racism, I think, too, because you're
Yeah.
not assuming, you can't even fathom that they're Black
That they are
Canadian.
from here.
Because your perception
Exactly.
or your concept of a Canadian is a white, except the real
White.
Canadians are actually indigenous. If we're talking about
See,
Canadian.
see.
But
Yeah,
So
even the difference
They'll see
between
asking like, so where
indigenous
African
are you
people and
from?
ask them
Americans
where they're from.
and white Africans is the nature of immigration.
Oh
They were
yeah.
forcefully taken out of their lands and taken elsewhere. These people came here willingly
I
and
mean,
Living
their
settled.
a natural life.
ancestors came willingly.
Yeah, I mean, same
I mean,
thing. These
they
other
have
people
stayed
settled.
willingly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when
But
they don't want
also,
to, other America has opened its doors for them.
Yeah,
When
but
they're ready.
that's only recent. I generally feel like the same way African Americans are treated terribly in that regard. I don't think white South Africans are also, well, white Africans are probably also being, I mean, I don't know for sure, but they're
No, no,
probably
no, no,
also
no, no.
treated
At
that
least I can
way,
tell you that much
where
for
it's
free.
like
They are
people
not.
are like,
They
oh,
are
go back
not.
to your country.
Absolutely not. They are not. Even
no.
Indians in East Africa are treated
Indians, yeah.
better than Black Africans in East Africa. Uganda has a very huge Indian population.
Same
Look at
Malawi
Ghana.
as
Lebanese
well.
in Ghana and Indians in Ghana. They're Ghanaian. Their ancestors might have come from Lebanon, but they're Ghanaian. Are they not treated better than actual Ghanaians in Ghana? That's how it
Hmm.
is.
But you do better
It's not
by
even
Ghanaian. So let's
comparable.
not
It's
miss the
By
point.
by
I
you
think
and I, our people.
yeah. So the recurring theme in our discussion is as
We are
if
part of the problem.
we're part
Oh
of
yes,
these
100%.
systems have
We
been
are
put
the
into
problem.
place and we are perpetuating them happily.
Yeah.
Dismissing our own
Yeah.
languages to take unilingual because we don't speak any sort of recognized international
Like,
language.
look at what you're forced to take an English language proficiency test to get a residence permit. These people would rather create a different language than learn the local language. What the heck is Afrikaans? What is that? There's
Oh, I
Zulu.
see. Yeah.
That is essentially
Oh
Dutch.
my God. Yes, like
It's
it's
Learn
like
that's
Zulu
a
if
mix
Dutch.
you
of
want an
Dutch and
African
something.
language. Learn whatever African languages they have. We have millions and
They have
millions.
like a lot
Come and learn
actually.
Frafra if you must. If you don't like Zulu, learn Frafra. We will
Yeah.
take you.
They have
So
plenty in South
I
Africa.
think the
Like
recurring
the
is that we're
options are
part of,
plenty.
we want to see the change. You have to be part of that change.
I
And I
feel
guess
like
that's
our generation is definitely
yeah,
part of the change. I
recognize
don't,
it.
yeah. I think I can see our generation being part of that change, and it's beautiful to watch. Hopefully
Yeah.
it's sustained and
I
yeah.
know.
This
And it shows
discussion
in
is getting too
policy and in
spicy,
like
guys.
governance and things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
I think it will
Yeah.
be.
So
Anyways, the
Gail
back
is a white
Gail,
Zambian.
I felt a
No, I
And
little
talking
think
bit.
about HIV/AIDS.
HR, exactly. I was gonna say I feel like you're hating on Gail for talking about
I'm not.
the
No, I
truth.
just I and
It's
what
like
is the
it's a house matter.
Linda could have HIV too. Linda was sleeping around, but I don't see the speculation of the white people having HIV. The CIA agent could have HIV. He was sleeping around.
The
Jenna could have
Canadian who was sleeping with
the
prostitutes could have
Canadian could have
HIV.
HIV.
Yeah.
Anybody
Surprised
can
that
have
dark doesn't have
HIV,
HIV.
you know,
Agreed.
but it was mostly the blacks and the two children of poor Angel. Later we find out that
Both are
Venus
kids.
actually had HIV as well. That's why she took the pills to kill herself.
I think Angel said she
Yeah,
had tested them and they were negative.
The
Yeah,
the
I
children.
kids
thought the
are
kids
negative,
were okay,
but
yeah.
But
yeah,
Venus's latest child, like, so she might have
uncle
been
died.
negative when she had, but she by the time, so I think
When
her
she
husband
died.
would have brought it home, I'm guessing, because the child that she got
Mm,
pregnant that died, and for her to test to see that she was positive.
I
yeah.
also
Yeah,
thought about
exactly.
it raised the issue of, because I've heard this story before of a woman getting HIV from their husband. And I'm wondering, why are all of these women getting HIV? Is it from their husbands?
It's from their
And
It's
husbands.
possible.
It's always
It's
from their
easier for
husbands.
women. It's easier for women to acquire HIV from like it's easier for a male partner to give HIV to a female partner than vice
the
versa.
other way around, yeah.
So
And is
in
it
the
easier for
context of
males to
Angel's
give to
son,
other males?
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
easiest. So male to male is number one, and then male to female
Male to
receptor
female.
sex, and then
Is it because of the
female to
So
semen?
half the time, if a female has
yes,
AIDS, it's not or HIV, she may not pass it on to her partner.
yes. If she doesn't have some mucosal tear, and he also has like some mucosal tear, it's possible he won't acquire it.
On like the first encounter, anyways.
Yeah, but
Men
but
just stay
think about the
winning.
fact that like if they're
They stay
having
winning with it.
sex
A lot of STDs
multiple
are they don't
times,
show it that they
then
go to women.
abrasions and things like that. Also, like
Yeah.
That's true.
yeah.
Other ways, it's not
Yeah.
just sex, is it?
So can we conclude
They
then
share
that
blades.
Angel's son, because he died of HIV, well, he was positive and he ended up being killed before he actually
Sure.
did.
Yeah.
I believe he brought it to his household. Like we never understood how any of these people got these
Yeah,
diseases. Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
story makes it seem as if, again, at least you make a good point that it's prevalent in that part, or maybe was
Very.
in that part
Mhm.
of Africa, but almost as if it's like malaria. Everybody could have AIDS.
Also,
And
remember
then
that
At the
in the
time,
early
at the
the
two
talk of
time,
in the early
Ebola, I was just so
2000s.
mad. Now Ebola, like Africans are constantly like, do you have Ebola? Do you have AIDS? And Gail, do better, Gail.
I don't
And Gail
think
says
that
she
I
lives in
think
Africa. What is Africa?
no,
So
but
Gil has a
Jesse,
first-hand experience of all 54 countries. I'll have you know.
She lives in all
Yes.
54
Just as
countries.
an African living in Africa. So
I think because maybe because I see like maybe because HIV is my job, basically. That's
it
why
is your job. You are the
yeah,
expert
I
here.
feel like I don't think I would like I didn't notice any, especially early 2000s. The
Yes, it
cure,
is.
I mean, there's no cure, but like antiretrovirals were not popular. Like people, like the stigma was still high. So it was then that HIV was, especially in Africa, now getting, okay, we have experimental ARTs that you can try, even though other parts of the world had like, better meds. Even today, there are like better meds here that are not available in Ghana unless you have a lot of money.
Mhm.
There are once every 2 months injections where you don't have to take your pill every day. You
I
just go
love
in every 2 months and get injections. We don't have that in Ghana. So I feel like, especially considering that the prevalence is highest on
that
the
continent.
continent, the
Because of
disparities of
poverty,
like
not because we
medication,
have
exactly.
I
yeah,
So
understand.
it's like
See.
all these other things, like there's a lot of the poverty is there, the stigma is even worse over there. So things like that. So I don't think it's because she's saying, oh, Africa, like we are the ones breeding like you know
I
what I
understand
mean?
I
Jesse's
don't,
point.
that's not what I'm
Listen,
saying.
Jesse, the
I'm just saying
uncomfortable
it's a
truth.
personal
I
thing.
don't like the
Is
uncomfortable
that
truth coming from an outsider because it is the
So
if
you
truth.
want to
Nigel
be
or
able,
you had
then
written
tell it,
about it, we would have dissected it properly and talked
then
about
tell
why
the
is
story.
HIV prevalent in
Then tell
Africa.
your story. That's what it is. Tell your story.
We must start writing our
That's
own books. Exactly. We have to, yeah.
Gil,
First
no,
to
where is she
listen.
from? Where is she from? That's what I want to
Good
know.
question.
To be a right story
Parkin
for
doesn't
that
sound like an
question.
South
African name.
Africa. She's English. I think she's English. Born
Uh,
and
She
raised
should write
in
about it,
Zambia.
the imperialism of her nation. I would like to hear about that.
I'm
Oh,
sure she
so
How they
she's
were
a
not
book
bad
I'll
enough
definitely
English
read
until we
too.
showed
born
them.
and raised in Zambia. English born and raised in Zambia.
I
Yeah.
feel like she's English, yeah.
You
And
know,
now
many,
lives in
many
Africa.
Africans born and raised in England were not allowed to call themselves English. So, Gil, Miss Parkins,
I
fine, you
think
can
you
be
should
Zambian.
tag
I'm just
her.
saying, where are you
If
You
from?
I
should
did
tag
meet
her and
Gail,
ask her.
she said, "Oh, I'm Zambian." I'd be like, "Oh, okay, but from
Okay, but where are
where?
you really from?
Where are you
You
really
you
from?"
guys are
The
part of the
first day I get to
problem.
do this, guys, I'll be so gleeful.
Have you guys seen the
Uh,
meme? Have you seen the
which
memes that are
meme?
circulating
What
that
meme
are
is that?
hilarious?
Which
But
one?
there's this black guy who's going around town doing to white people what they do to us.
Oh,
So,
the
so for
outrage.
example, you would be like, "Hey, can I touch your hair? Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Can I touch your hair?" Like to random white people. Or he's walking past a group of white people who snatch his bag as if you're going to steal from him. He'll be one
Off the street.
like you'll
My
see a black white
God.
people walking, he'll be holding his bag tight and looking at them some way. Or he went into a shop and saw white people. Do you work here? Do you work here?
Oh my
The
goodness. But
internet is
also,
loving it.
guys, Gail Parkin, she's a teacher, mentor, and writer for HIV. Like she counsels people with
Okay, so this is
HIV.
like her area.
Just
So
a
this is
background.
exactly, this is also her expertise. I
Not
guess
like she
that's
went.
part of the issue.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you write what you know,
Mm.
so.
Yeah.
And she knows Zambia. and East Africa. So
And
I
HIV.
think
African
at the
herself
So
and
time,
that's in
HIV.
there.
She puts all
I
her
think at the
expertise
time it
together
was
in one book,
rampant.
and it's a great book, honestly. Even though
Yeah.
I'd love, I said when I first might ask a white man, where are you from? I feel such joy in my spirit.
Remember to do
I'm
that the
looking for
next
him
time.
to.
Make
Honestly,
sure you're
I'll
recording it. It'll be
see.
hilarious. Where are
Yeah.
you really from?
Um, yeah.
I mean, I guess the biggest theme is one of was like the community, right? I'm kind of
Yeah.
wondering what about Angel made her that centralizing figure? Like, why? Well, I think I mentioned this like, okay, she's an outsider. She's black, but
Mm-hmm.
she's not Rwandan. And so you feel as if you can talk to her without, like, again, Rwandans don't like to talk about the genocide, but they could talk to her about it because she wasn't,
But she's learning.
exactly. So, yeah, how did we feel? Because I mean, given the context of the community that we're trying to build, for our app users, and what was the importance of
I
community story and what did it add to the story?
I loved the discussion on the community. I think it was very central to just
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine anybody here, me randomly going to make an order and they're like, oh, come and have a cup of tea.
Never.
I would absolutely be shocked. So I really enjoyed
You're trying
that.
to poison me.
Yeah, right?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. But do we
This is
find that
why.
I like that.
but is that
Mm-hmm.
natural? Like, would you go to a cake baker's house now and they
Oh,
might
well, not
offer
in
you,
now.
Depends on the
Unless
It
community.
she's if
If
depends.
she's a local baker that everybody is
yeah,
going to, yeah. I
And
mean,
is,
you're
is
not
it
going
like,
to big
am I
shop
walking into
to
her shop or is it from
or
her
her
home?
house,
exactly.
Yeah, if it's from her
Nanajua,
home, they'll feel
but
normal.
from
the
her
plantain
house,
chips woman, you can
yes,
walk in and have
Yes,
a chat.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it happens. It depends on the community. And if it's someone you know sells these things, you just walk in, sit down, have a chat before you leave.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Mm-hmm.
have a cup of tea and some cakes. I'd probably go
Yeah.
consult on cakes all the time. If
did you
I'll
house
place another
stay?
giving
orders for
out
my
cups of
friends.
tea and cakes.
I know,
Was
right?
it because there was security at the gate? But I felt so like she felt very safe to open her door to almost all and everybody who came, including Captain
I
Kalis,
feel
who
like
was a little
I
bit
feel like
That's
unstable.
majority
Africa, really.
majority of
Yeah.
Accra, I don't see how, like, even when they don't have, unless it's in like a what's considered a shady neighborhood, I feel like I can walk into anybody's home for the most part. Or unless they live in
People don't really
Trasaco
lock
and
their
it's like,
gates
don't try
anyway.
that.
And
Yeah.
people run their businesses, start running their businesses, especially women from their homes.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
she felt very safe opening gates and opening her doors to almost everybody, including people that maybe she shouldn't have. Whose story stood out most to you, actually, of all the stories she heard?
The
The
Ghanaian.
child soldier for me.
At least,
It was
yeah.
That
so
was
heartbreaking.
Caliste.
Have you got
Yeah.
to that point? Najwa? Have you gotten to that point?
No,
The
I
soldier
didn't
who
hear
went
it.
She said
the child
Caliste.
soldier, Kalist.
Child soldier.
No, not yet, not yet. I think I'm
So
currently, we just left Kwame and Akusia's house. I think from what I remember.
right.
Jenna, and no, actually, she's at Linda's house, and Linda is like about to talk to her. So that's where I've gotten to.
Mm.
So Kalist is a soldier who was taken as a child soldier during the war. And that I heard a story of a Ghanaian general who was sent to Congo and Cambodia and some other place where these things were happening. And so when I was reading his part, like I just remembered this, and he was telling us about how these people are, because you know nothing. So they take you away from your family. You haven't developed social skills, and some of them can't
Frontal
speak.
lobe.
So,
Yeah,
and they raise you as a breeding machine, I mean, a shooting machine, like a killing
like
machine.
a
You have
weapon.
no
Oh, that's
empathy.
bad.
Some of them can't speak, and only know words of violence, and that's all they know. Like kill,
Yeah.
they're called, what are they called? I forget, but there's a technical name for them. And his story was just so sad because, again, just being a normal person and going to the army and having to, you know, live through a war as a soldier is traumatic enough. And most of these people come home with PTSD, much less like going as a child
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
being taken and raised as a child soldier, which is still happening in places like Congo and like war torn.
Yeah.
Obviously he's going to be it's not going to be all right all up there. I would have wanted to see a more definitive conclusion on his story. Didn't really get that because he went to propose to Linda. He thought that he had his 2-year-old HIV test. He, he had
Which
his
was so
Look at my
wild to
certificate.
me.
so wild. He started off
2
very
years
dangerous
though.
to me.
Has he not had sex in
I
2
thought he
years?
was very dangerous.
Exactly.
But
And
then
you
later
like
on,
ask
I'm like, yeah, this man is not well. He's not dangerous. He's
Yeah,
just
he's
not well
just like
mentally.
he
well.
has mental health issues.
He was
So how do you
villainized.
propose to a woman you've never met? It's with a
With a
2-year-old
cake.
with a
With a
cake and a
cake.
ring. You've never
That's
met
how
this
you do
woman.
it.
And with a 2-year-old HIV test.
And then you upset that she said no. Yeah, but you know what, Jesse, I think I agree with you. There wasn't a good conclusion or running out of his story. I would have liked to see him get mental help or some discussion about kind of the help that the government is putting into place to kind of rehumanize or rehabilitate some of these soldiers that are walking around, you know? Because in the end, he was villainized and just barred from coming back into that compound. But we didn't see
Yeah.
a resolution for him, which is sad because he was clearly mentally unstable. And I think if the story continues, it will end up with him shooting a woman that he didn't know, but he proposed to and she said no. You know what I mean?
Really.
Who else's story has stood out?
Wow, that guy who I forget his name, but he is Rwandan, but I think his family moved to was it Tanzania or Congo
Diodone.
maybe?
Diodone.
Sorry,
Diodone.
Oh, the one that ended up
Diodone.
with Odile.
The
Diodone.
black belt,
Yes, 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 yes. Did he end
Yeah,
up with a deal?
he did. Oh, sorry. Spoiler
How
alert.
sweet. I love it. Yeah, he
Spoiler.
had found, he said, and the way Diodone told the story, at that point I was like, Gail,
I know,
sis,
right?
my African sister, what's going on? Because she asks him, tell me your story. And he says, Angel, if you had asked me yesterday, it would have been a sad story. But since you've asked me today, let me tell you from the beginning. Just like, yo, just go straight to the point. Like, these first two lines, we didn't need it. Just pick up the stories. At that point, it was still dragging for me, but the other story was as interesting how I thought that it was going to end badly because whoever was saying they were his brother and sister were, or is it his sisters, were going to be like
Like,
imposters
not
trying to take
true.
money from him, not true, and break his house again. So I like that it turned out to be true, and like
Yeah.
that was very like a wholesome thing. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh no, you're going to scam him. Some people are going to take his money or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, ended well for him. He ended up with Odile
Yeah.
because of the war and what she's been through. She can't have kids, so they
Kids.
adopted
But they adopted,
Jean d'Arc's brother or some random kid she
well,
found.
a kid that she adopted
Yeah.
That
when
dark
she found.
story told that
Oh,
towards the end.
Jeanne
So
d'Arc story. That's true.
yeah. So she's the whole time portrayed as just the
A
the
prostitute.
compound prostitute. And I didn't
It was
even
so
realize she's so
sad.
young, right? Like she's 17.
17.
no, I
Yeah,
didn't
Yeah.
realize she was that young. Oh, then the
exactly.
Canadian is
Yeah.
bad. The Canadian is
Yeah,
a bad guy.
very young girl.
Angel
So
Props
got
to
something.
Angel
And
for
I
getting
know Angel got. Do you want to tell
yeah,
the story? Yeah.
Angel.
yeah, Angel's
So
yeah.
Angel was planning this whole wedding and collecting the dowry from everybody in the compound,
Oh,
right?
your caddy.
So she goes to the Canadian and it's like, oh, what do you do? Like they're just having her usual tell me your story chat type stories. And he's like, well, does he work for the IMF?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's the
okay.
Yes,
IMF.
So he
yes.
works with the IMF and he's saying that, oh, even though he's not in charge of the IMF doing anything, he's in charge of writing what the money will be used for. What it's
Perfect.
actually used for, that one's none
Okay.
of his business. Like that guy was just an idiot, first of all. Anyway, and she was like, oh, so sometimes you take money meant for something and use it for something else. And he's like, oh yeah, like it happens all the time. And she's like, isn't that bad? He's like, it's not bad as long as the work gets done. And she's like, okay, give me your money for the wedding. He said he's not going to give. And then what did she say? I think she did a whole spiel
Confronted
on
him a little
why,
bit. Yeah.
yeah, guilt tripped him, and then he gave $100, and he's like, do you have change? And she's like, absolutely not. So she took that
This man,
$100
he
and went
said,
to give it to.
he said our charges.
She's
I
great
know,
at
right?
multitasking too, because she goes to the bank to change the money, meets
Yeah.
Dieudonné or whatever, links him up
Math
with
mix
Odile, changes the money, comes back home,
and gets it to
gives the money to
Leocadie.
Jean d'Arc.
Angel is just
Jeanne
single-handedly
d'Arc.
fixing the whole
Yeah,
community.
she's a fixer, a problem
Single-handedly.
solver.
She's a
Yeah, I
fixer.
like
She's a
that.
fixer. Even how she
But
took more money from Linda is so African woman, and I
I
was actually quite
know.
impressed with Gail for being able to write that. Like, you
I
know,
know.
Gail has
how
African
did she
friends.
Gail, Linda takes out one note and she says, you know, Modest is because Modest and the Cadi's wedding. Without him, like he's a security guard, without him, whatever. And
The
then
place
Linda
will
has
not
to
be
take out more
safe.
money. And you know, he's been keeping the compound safe. Linda takes out another note. Just guilt
Linda.
tripping everybody to
And
pay for this
Leocadie stops
dowry.
upsell. Leocadie
Yes.
stops upsell for you. Okay,
Yes.
take more.
Because we're making Amstel when she got to Linda's house.
I think it was brilliant. Like the fact that
Yeah.
she thought, like, because a lot of people, there's a lot of stigma attached to sex work. And the fact that she thought about this girl, I mean, at the time she didn't even know the girl's story and the reason why she had to resort to sex work. But the fact that she realized that this Canadian man was being brutal to the girl, like being evil to her, and taking that money back to her was very, like, very thoughtful. Not many people would have thought of that.
I mean, and then
Yeah.
she made a comment when we found out that Canadian had not paid her. He said
Mm-hmm.
if she wanted to screw me, but I screwed her twice or whatever. I was like, that's so crass, Mr.
Exactly. He
Canadian.
was
And
he was a terrible guy.
terrible. And Angel said, I mean, doesn't he know that nobody who has money would do sex work? That's clearly she's doing this
Yeah,
because she needs money. And for him to do this to her
exactly.
is just really, really bad. And I thought that was because a lot of people, I don't know Angel's age. I don't know if it's told, but I have the impression she's in like late 40s, early 50s.
Early 50s.
And
That's
a
what
lot
I
of people
thought.
her age would not be as benevolent towards somebody doing sex work. It would be more judgmental. But Angel was
Yeah.
clearly open-minded enough to see that nobody would, at least largely, people are doing this because this is like their last choice. They have no other
Yeah.
option. And nobody who has money and the means to have a better life would choose to trade sex for money. And so she was able to humanize Jean d'Arc in that way.
Yeah.
Even before we the readers knew Jeanne d'Arc's very sad story of having to do this because she doesn't want her younger sisters to be the ones to do it, and she had already been violated during the war as a child.
11.
At
So she
11,
might as
she felt
well.
like, you know what, why don't I do it so I can take my younger siblings to school, her two younger sisters, and then her benevolence as well, finding a random small boy and adding that to her chores.
Her two
Burden.
children.
Two children as a 17-year-old girl, you know.
17.
Been mothering since she was 11. So yeah, her story, like you said, I didn't because Africans in general have like this negative perceptive. I mean,
It's
like we're
very
saying, nobody's a
stigmatized
prostitute because they want to
because they
be.
want to
You never
be.
know their stories, but we still judge them. We still look down on them. We still say you should be selling cocoa instead of doing this ABCD. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like, can you make the same amount of money? Probably not.
To take care of the people that you need to
You
take
have to
care
stand
of.
in the hot
Your
sun for how
dignity
long?
will be intact. She's like, you didn't get to a good job.
You have to
Exactly.
stand in, I mean, not that you have to have a certain sort of spirit, I feel, to get to that, but because it's
No,
really
you have to be pushed to a certain level that
yeah,
none
you
of
lose
us have
yourself
had
doing
the privilege of being
Yeah.
pushed to resort
Yeah.
to that. I think that's what
Yeah.
it is.
But yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
Jesse, I'm sure you want to move
Anyways,
this along.
yeah. Speaking of community and our community, I thought of Angel doing all of these things for free, and basically what African women do and Africa in general does for free. So that's why the concept of paying for these things is quite foreign to African women, because we get the mentorship for free, we get the life advice for free, we get, if I go to Nanajo's house, I'm sure her dad will just
Her mom and her dad
advise
will
me.
just corner
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
You get
When we
life
went out to pick,
lessons
when we went
through
to
the
pick up
door.
the Amazon stuff, we actually ended up having a chat for at least 20 minutes
With
with
my
your
parents?
parents.
Yeah,
Yes.
your
Who wants
parents.
them?
Young
So
people
we
must
get
advise.
very
Yeah,
like
must
high
advise. They go
quality
to that mode.
valuable advice and life, just
That
directly
you
life
don't have
generally
to
for
pay.
free. And it's a
Yeah,
privilege I think we take for granted. And when I hear people in the West
absolutely.
having to pay for this, I am reminded that yeah, community is such a big thing in Africa, and we shouldn't take it's really a superpower. And I read somewhere as well about gossip, how gossip is seen as bad by men because it's how women kept themselves safe.
Yes.
And now I like to gossip because that's how I keep myself. And I think that
I mean,
gossip is
apparently
how
it's
so
not
you
bad actually. It's
it's
how
not
women
bad.
communicate and socialize and
I
like
think it can be bad,
Gossip
guys.
about
malicious gossip.
talk to
If
your
you're
friends
making
about
things
the
up,
Malicious
man you are
gossip,
talking
yes.
to so
if
that
you're
they can
making
tell
things up that
you
didn't
if
happen,
they've seen him on the streets or not.
A
Talk
majority of
to
people gossiping are participating in malicious gossip. People are
most
not
some
just
kind of
saying,
but it's
maliciousness,
the
you
most
know.
delicious type of gossip. But yeah, you shouldn't be
Delicious,
gossiping.
malicious.
Not the malicious one, but if there's a man says if there's a man that's sleeping with every woman, we're the women, we have to gossip so we
oh,
know
that
that.
part I
Yeah.
agree.
So we don't
That's
get
yeah, we know,
HIV.
That's one thing I wish
right?
Angel had done. She should have told the CIA's wife that, look, your husband he's not just the CIA, he's also the community D. Like, I think she should have
Community
told
gossip.
her.
Ah, oh my God.
She was so
Um,
sheltered, the CIA wife.
I know.
Thought
yeah,
so. She was
Maybe
So
sheltered.
even
glad,
imprisoned.
so
yeah,
Yes.
glad that
But
she
she
had,
was telling
well,
her stories about it's not safe to go. Like he
yeah.
just kept her in the house. Angel basically saved her, you know. So
I'm glad that
And one
she
thing
must
we
have.
saw, yeah, with Angel is again the role of African women in society. African women have always worked. There's never this whole idea of like women were put down. It's a Western concept of putting women down that we adopted. African women have farmed, they've taken care of their kids. The economy of Africa generally is on the backs of African women. They go to the markets, they're in the informal sector. And we see that with Angel and even Leocadi, Odile, and the new I forget the girl who has HIV and is learning to bake now.
Teresa.
I don't remember her name, but
Teresa.
yeah.
Yeah,
Teresa? I don't know. Teresa.
And
yeah,
even all the sex workers who are learning to sew.
who are learning
Yeah,
to sew,
that's
yes.
true.
And even
Handmade
Jeanne
So that
d'Arc,
they can
handles
sex
clothes.
work
stop.
for her sisters, her siblings, just generally, and they're so witty, so wise. They know how to use persuasion to get what they want. Is I feel like that's an African woman's strength.
An art.
Um, Yeah, without having to resort to violence or marching on the street. So don't think an African woman is docile or they don't know what they want. They know exactly what they want and they'll get what they want from these men.
That was actually said. Wasn't that said towards the end when because they wanted to perform genital mutilation on
I
Safia. Was it
know,
was
that's so
Safia
sad.
or
Yeah.
Oh,
Olivia?
that was such
I
a
mean, his
that
daughter,
situation.
right?
Yeah, but basically they said, what was the exact same? But basically, if your husband tells you not to drink or your husband tells you not to do something, this is how the mentality of African women and how they end up sort of getting what they want or being really the next, as we say, right? But if your husband tells you not to drink and you come and say, who are you to tell me not to drink? I will drink when I want. Who has given this authority? Then they'll always kind of be on the lookout for you drinking. They'll smell your
Drinking. Yeah,
in your
yeah.
stash. But if he tells you not to drink, he'll say, oh, me, oh, because you said it, I will never touch. Never. Then because
You
you're
believe you.
yes.
Yeah.
Even when you are sitting in front of him drinking it, he'll be looking at you like, oh, my wife
So
doesn't
this is
drink
apple
because
juice.
I told her she cannot drink. Do you see what I'm saying? So you will
And I
come
Yeah.
think
home
you're right.
drunk.
There's a difference in how we deal.
We deal with these
Yeah.
things. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
you think it's
And
submissive because she said conceded and said I won't do it, but she's finding other ways to get what she
she's
wants.
running the household. Like,
Running the
look at
household.
the other
Playing
book we
mind
read. What is it
games.
called? What's the name of the book we read
Baba
last week?
Seji.
The
The
first
se-
wife was the
She was
business
running that
minded.
house.
She was running
Yep.
the household,
She was
and that's
running
something
that
Yeah,
that
house.
ESG.
yes.
almost every African woman has like a side hustle helping the family, like
Yeah.
selling something, doing something, baking.
But this is the
Anyway,
kind of power I feel that I never had an appreciation of as a woman until I think much later in life. Because I've always sort of seen power as what men hold. So that kind of overt power. where I can give a command and somebody obeys, and if they don't obey, there's
Then
consequences.
it's not power.
So you just basically have to verbalize something and it's done, or that kind of like, And so the subversive power, the kind of ways in which feminine power kind of shows itself, isn't something that I was familiar with or even respected as a form of power until later, because society in many ways kind of what you see as powerful is that those are overt displays, and those overt displays lead to wars, and they lead to kind of all the things that we've seen. But women have, which I definitely am in that. That's the only form of power I employ now because I find the other
I think this
highly ineffective,
you're right,
Men like to make
ineffective.
us think that, whatever is a male trait is better than a female
A
trait.
female trait,
So being like logical without emotions, or which is even ridiculous, not true, by the way, is the preferred trait. So we think that having the soft power is inferior to the overt power, like you think, but I think they both have their
They both have their
place in
strengths, and
society.
yeah. And I think generally, like, you want to have the overt power because that is what I guess he's saying has always been hailed. So if you're quieter and like, like quiet strength, you're often going to be overlooked, and like she doesn't know what she wants. She's not fighting for things, that kind of thing. My mother always told us, like, when we're growing up, like, let him think he's in charge. Just allow him to
Exactly.
think he's in charge, but really everybody knows who's really in charge. And I saw it in my house that he's a big tall man, my father. He's making money. My mother is making money as well. But you can tell that if my mother decides that something's going to happen, it's going
It
to
will
happen.
happen. Exactly.
My father may be all stomp, rah, rah. No, it won't happen. They'll go upstairs. 1 hour, she'll come down and say, okay, so yes, we are going to continue as discussed. And it's like,
And that's the best kind of power for that setting,
But she used all types of persuasion, including possibly physical ones. Who knows? But yeah.
Guys.
It works for her.
As long as it works.
As long as it works. And it's the kind that men also tend to respond to because it's not overt. So they don't feel like you have
threatening them.
emasculated me. No, they don't even realize it, and they've given in, and they're like, oh, okay, I agree with you. I'll do what you're saying. And almost like I came up with the idea. Sometimes that kind of power makes me feel tired. It's like, why am I having to massage you? And I'm right. Let me just be right. But it has its strengths, and like it has its times and things
I
like
think when you're
that.
dealing with patriarchy or it's stacked against you, then it's best to probably not try and fight with it, but to kind of come at it a different way. Because when you can't win in that way, you have to use your other ways. But yeah.
All right, so let's move on. This is running late. Anybody?
I know, right? We need to conclude. What do we have left?
We can combine cultural relevance, prose writing. The writing, I liked it. It was easy to get through. And then Poka Health relevant. Oh, the last three, and then we'll have a final
Poka Health relevant.
We've not even got into this bit. We've been in the beginning of.
I think we've talked about the cultural stuff.
We've talked about the cultural thing.
She was experiencing menopause the whole time. I don't see any.
The hot flashes, that was very much women's health.
Yeah.
Very central.
Like, we're coming for you. Wait.
Yeah. So
when she met the doctor outside the shop and she had just had a hot flash, she just come and sit outside. And she's like it was like a fire inside her coming out. I was like, oh, Angel, you're really going through it. And like having to parent 5 children in the middle of all of this.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I think Angel is.
Yeah. I think Gail did a great job writing it. I think she did a good job researching. I know Zambia is in Southern Africa, but she did a great job with the Eastern African references, the tea,
She might have lived there. She lived there?
She's
lived in
wrote
Rwanda.
it. She embodied an African woman. Like I have my problems with
but she's one.
But she is one.
She's an African woman, so
naturally
in Rwanda, and you could tell even the language. Like I was saying, like we've read other books. There's no way we could mistaken that this book was anywhere but in East Africa. You know, but even if they
Exactly.
hadn't
True.
named the countries, if it was even imaginary countries, even with the accent, the tone, everything that we would say, okay, we don't know which African country, but this is certainly in the East, you
Definitely
know.
East Africa.
So yeah, she really did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Anything else? Any relation to Poka Health? Apart from
HIV. We
Yeah,
should
I
do
mean
a
the
lot of
community.
HIV work. We should add it on to our, I
Now,
mean, I feel like it's not talked about a lot. A lot of HIV is still very prevalent and we're not talking about it. So yeah.
I've been wanting to ask this actually. When you have HIV, is it in your sperm and your egg? Because how are you able to have kids who don't have HIV?
It's in your how do I explain this? You can if your viral load is low. The
So
only
they
way
can
you can have
extract
a
your
child.
sperm and your
No, no,
egg
no.
and
How do
You
the
will have
blockers work? How do the blockers work then?
like you
Because
will
an HIV
reduce.
positive
So
mother
it's
won't have an HIV positive child,
if your
possibly.
viral load is low enough, you're able to pass on DNA to the child that doesn't have
it's
HIV.
not affected.
So
right.
it's dependent on your viral load being low enough.
So
So
you
if
have to
you're
be on
taking your
medication.
medication properly, you're
Okay.
being diligent about that, you're able to have
But
there are
what
a
if
lot
you, so
of
are you saying that before
Because
people who
if
medication
you
have
was
find out,
being,
HIV positive partners, people who
yeah,
are HIV negative who have HIV positive partners. There's a lot of that.
no, but
Yeah, I've
before,
seen that,
There's a
but
so
lot
I've
about
does
always
it.
that
been
mean that
wondering
before it wasn't
how
possible to
you're
have a
able to have.
negative child?
No,
but now
before
it
it
is.
was not likely possible because there's once your
The
viral
blood load
load
is going to be
is
high.
at a
Okay.
certain level, yeah, exactly. So
Interesting. Okay.
They're making great strides in HIV and
absolutely, we're looking for a cure, guys.
yeah.
Guys, they
Yesterday
can
was
Two
cure
World
anything.
AIDS
injections,
Day.
two
All they have to do is
injections a
do the
month
research.
is great. That's you guys
Yeah.
I
are
feel
just
like all these STDs probably have cures. You just don't have the intensive research that have put into it. Malaria, is there a cure yet? I'm sure that there's a
There's a
vaccine now.
vaccine.
There's
Yeah,
a
Yeah,
there's a
vaccine.
vaccine. Yeah.
they talked
but
about malaria. I mean, is there an African book if they don't talk about malaria?
and then
Indeed.
we
All
all
right,
have.
guys, should we rate it? Who wants to go first?
Yeah.
Let's start with you,
Hmm.
Debra.
Me, you know what? Again, this was a book that we firstly found hard to read in a timely manner, but it wasn't the book's fault. It wasn't the book's fault because it's actually an engaging, interesting story of everyday joy and life. Um, well written. I think I'd go with a 4.
Mhm.
I'll give this book a 4. Yeah.
I think I'll also go with the 4. What takes away that one is I wish there had been a better characterization of the people because I felt like all these names and I'm not like I keep forgetting who's Leokadi and who's like you know what I mean. So that was one of the things I wish it was, or like maybe every person has their own like let's hear about them from their POV or whatever, or a
Mm.
few POVs so that it's easier to keep the people's name. So that took away from it as well. And then it was slow. And I agree that she wrote it slow because it was talking about such a heavy topic. But I wish it had been a little bit more like if some excitement could have happened in that compound. I'm pretty sure some excitement happened there at some point. So I feel like that would have added. But otherwise, I like the book. I enjoyed reading it. I think she did a good job with it. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, as you know, I'm not done, but
Preliminary
I've managed to
results.
finally start to enjoy where I've gotten to. Like Elise is saying, started really slow. And I was telling Jesse last week that I feel like nothing is at stake.
Yeah.
I'm just reading somebody's day, and it's like that's fine, but I can just go out and live instead. So that was not that it was kind of really slow for me and lots of characters, which is fine. Um, because of that, like how heavy the topic was, maybe just write it slow, and the story was better told when everybody else came in. It was just hard to keep track sometimes, but I'm starting to enjoy it. Where I've gotten to, I'm seeing Angel as a plot device and what she's being used to do, and even the character development that she herself is experiencing is great. So I'm gonna give it a 4.
I think this is probably a first unanimous rating because I also
Yeah.
give it a 4.
Okay, Gail.
Yeah, give it a 4 because so yeah, we'll have what, a 4 out of 5 stars.
4, yes, it's a
Yeah.
Poka 4-star.
Yeah.
Poka 4-star. I think that for such heavy topics, she tackled them really, really well. And she did them, credit where credit is due. She did it really well. She did her research. Well, okay, not research. She's an
You
African.
need to do research because it's her life.
But
It's
even
a
if it's
lived
your life, you
experience.
still have to do
You
the
still have to
research.
do
Oh, no,
You
she's
can,
not first time. It's an African woman.
she's
So
not East African, but she was
Probably
able to
heard
tell
all
us
of these
East
stories.
African stories.
I
She
wonder if
sat
any
them
of
Fair,
these
fair.
stories are actually true. She's probably heard some of these stories.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, on the
Able to,
website, it says that a lot of these are from stories that she heard while she was doing HIV consulting.
HIV work, yeah.
yeah. And even the way, Angel speaks and generally the people speak, pretty spot on. I think she wrote the book well, so it's a 4-star. 4-star because the beginning was difficult to get into. The latter half of the book I really liked. All right, so
All right.
that's it, guys. 4 stars for Baking Cakes in Kigali by Gaile Parkin. What is our next book? I don't know. We'll let you guys know.
We'll let you know.
Thanks for joining us and download the Poka app.